Hey, what's up, me Weedle? How's it going? What's up, Koenig? Welcome in, welcome in. Hello, hello. What's up, David, Keith, Emmanuel, Maxi, Max Life, Whooper, Mustard, I know nothing. What's up, Suhil, Mahesh, Ankalagon, Esteban, Jack, Rafal, Good Money. Welcome in, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. Nice try, King. King of PvP, Ryan. Nice try. What's up, Les? What's up, Tom? Ryan, 907 Filling Kids. Hello, hello. What's up, Brendan? Tolik, Unhooked, Yatharth, Cedric. Hey, what's up, Kevin? I had double Reggies in the back. I had double Reggies in the back. I was memeing around with double Reggies and realized that I got swept by one Trevenant. So that's why I top left it. I was on vacation trying to get my sets done with double Reggie, and then realized, oh, the team I built instantly loses. Hey, appreciate that, Dead Inside. 15 months, holy crap. Cobalion would have had a good time. Oh, 100%, 100%. I wouldn't have made it through the Trev, to be honest. And Nathan with the membership, holy support. Oh my goodness. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in. I appreciate the heck out of y'all. I'm going to do these jumping jacks right away. For Dad Inside, 15 months, and the new member, Nathan. Much appreciated. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Hope y'all had a nice weekend. Yo, what's up, Ayo? Oh, that's very kind of you, Unhooked. That's very kind of you. Yeah, chat. So, I hope y'all had a wonderful weekend. I was visiting family out of state in Colorado. So, I was not in town. So, any shiny shadows yet? Unfortunately not. I did have some decent Steelix luck, and I managed a good Shadow Golurk. Outside of that, the Mawiles have been pretty bad so far. The Mawiles have been pretty bad so far. Hey, I mean, Whooper, I mean, you can still have fun watching it, even if you're not necessarily playing the game. Have I fixed my buddy yet? You'll have to see in tomorrow. You'll have to see in tomorrow's video. But yes, we do have Warsaw Day 2. Great question, Kevin. They are very common, and I have a, like, downtown urban area, like 20 minutes away. So I drive to there, and then I just drive around the downtown area because it's big enough that I can make a full loop and it's in 30 minutes. It is in Europe, yes, Jonathan. So this is day 2. This is day 2.
Every Pokemon on the Kokshock team is going to be,
and this is something that did already happen. So, hey, what's up, Adam? Yeah, Dan, this is something that happened over the weekend. I just wasn't able to see it, and I wanted to check out the finals because I've heard great things. Yes, it is in Warsaw, Poland.
I feel like with these players, you're going to have your game 1 plan ready, but possibly on what your opponent's choosing to bring and how that. It really was about Swampo. So like.
All right. So we have our first matchup. We have Smeety versus Kokshock. Or Kokshock. Not quite sure how to pronounce it. But either way, let's take a peek at these teams here. We have Frostlass, Medicham, Galarian Stunfisk, Lantern, Noctowl, and Lickitung versus Trevenant, Azu, Victini of all things, Obstagoon, and then the Registeel and the Altaria. The second pronunciation was good. Kokshock? Okay, perfect. Yeah. Kokshock made it to day 2 with a Victini. What an absolute lord right there. Incredibly good stuff. Incredibly good stuff. But I'm going to take a peek here. Right off the bat. Oh, man. Trev looks really strong. Trev looks really strong. Victini as well can put in some work against like 4 of the 6. Oh, that's fair, Frostburn. That's fair. Hopefully they will announce more as it goes. But yeah. They are running Victini, which is pretty cool. A lot of practice Unhooked, a lot of practice. But I could definitely see, I mean, the Lickitung will be uncomfortable, for sure. But you do have Reggie and Goon, which are very strong Lickitung deterrals. And Goon is strong except against Medi. That's a fair point. Yeah, Goon does have a lot of neutral play as well, which is quite nice. Yeah, Bro does have Spice. Eric with that 8 months. Holy crap. All right. I'm going to do these jumping jacks real quick. 2, 3, 4. Speed running time. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Also, I think they said that I can just arrow key through this. All right, Chad, here we go. Hopping into game number 1. Are we? Hopefully. All right, here we go. Reggie Steele into the Noctowl. A dominantly good lead for Kokshock here. Smitey is going to need to immediately save switch, but he is very weak to the Reggie Steele as he's forced to bring in Frostlass. Frostlass going to be able to barely outpace, but chooses to overfarm and lets Kokshock reach this Zap Cannon. This Zap Cannon is going to be doing quite a lot of damage, so Frostlass is going to respect it with a shield and does get the attack drop, and it's met with Obstagoon. Now that attack drop is very nice. Frostlass does have the back-to-back avalanches loaded, but with that attack drop, Obstagoon is going to be able to survive them a lot better. First avalanche, not going to two-shot, actually. So Obstagoon, it will get them very low, but Obstagoon doesn't technically have to shield this. We'll have to see. Kokshock is going to decide to commit the shield here, wanting to try and preserve some HP. Could have survived it, but this way, he can fire off the Night Slash just before the third avalanche is reached. Gonna be letting this through. Night Slash will hit for super effective damage. Not the strongest move ever. Frostlass able to hang on. Frostlass continues to farm, and interestingly enough, lets the Obstagoon get to another Night Slash. Frostlass could have forced CMP here. Schmitey is committing both shields to this matchup, and gonna be firing off the avalanche, but I mean, if Kokshock wants it, he can very comfortably take switch advantage here, and that's exactly what he's going to do. He may have been better off served going for shield advantage. The way that he played it is the same as the first sound. Okay. Oh, got you, Bobby. Thank you. Thank you. Obstagoon gets the boost as well. Oh my goodness. Everything going right for Kokshock here. This Sky Attack is going to be taking out the Obstagoon, but this Noctowl still is absolutely miserable going up against the Reggie Steele. In comes Lantern, met with Trevenant, and this is just absolute rock, paper, scissors. Junkus was eliminated day 1, I believe. This is day 2. So, an unfortunate first game here. All right, Bobby. So, Schmiatiks. All right. Schmiatiks. Okay, Schmiatiks. All right, we got it. Thank you for the assist on the pronunciation. I got it. Schmiatiks. Okay, so we have Kokshock versus Schmiatiks. Lantern is going to be able to reach a surf, but I mean, Lantern is not going to be able to take out the Trevenant here, and Noctowl is just going to get absolutely destroyed by the Reggie Steele. As you can see here, Trev is able to get the KO. In comes Noctowl looking for the farm down, but that is not going to save the Noctowl. In comes the Reggie Steele. All Reggie Steele has to do is reach the Zap Cannon, and this will be game over. Trying to play it out, though. So, going to be firing off the Shadow Ball, but Shadow Ball just not going to be doing nearly enough damage in this matchup. Shadow Ball lands. Reggie Steele returns fire with the Zap Cannon, and Kokshock is going to be able to take it. Big close combat there. Absolutely. Absolutely. Fires off the Zap Cannon, and Zap Cannon will get the KO. And the nice thing is, since this was previously recorded here, we should be able to zoom through it a little bit to get to the next battle. All right, Chad, here we go. Game 2, Kokshock is up 1-0, and we switch into a game that has already happened. Looks like it was a Metacham lead into a Trevenant. Save switched into the... I'm rooting for a Kokshock because he's in our Discord. looked like it was a Medicham lead into Trevenant. Game started a little late. The pivot into Fisk, and Fisk is going to be met with the Obstagoon. And as you can see, take a peek at what that final matchup is going to be. That is really unfortunate here, as it's the Noctowl, and it's going to be the Registeel again. So this is just absolute rock, paper, scissors. You hate to see it. That cross chop is barely enough to KO. In comes the Medicham looking for the farm down. Medicham not going to be getting enough farm to reach an Ice Punch, which is a little unfortunate here. In comes the Trevenant. Ice Punch not going to be lethal from this range. Honestly, I really like the no shield here, because even after you take an Ice Punch, you can still comfortably take out the Medicham. In the back, we do see the Noctowl. Noctowl met with the Registeel, and that is just really unfortunate. Medicham doesn't even have a move that I could potentially use to snipe with after burning both shields. So this is just absolutely brutal here. Yeah, as Rustan says, ball game here. Kokshock is going to be able to move on with a decisive 2-0. Sadly, no Victini sighting in this game. But yeah, this is absolute mon for mon hard countered, and gets the attack debuff as well. Dank, it can depend a lot based on team composition. So Obstruct can be useful in some matchups, but Cross Chop is, I would say, more generally useful. I would say it feels a little slow to me, just because I'm used to the 1.75 speed, but in comes the Medicham, taking advantage of those desync switch timers, able to get a lot of farm on the Medicham here. Going to bank a move, bring in the Trevenant. Trevenant is going to be met with the Ice Punch. Needs to commit the shield here, as Ice Punch would be lethal from this range, but with no shields remaining, that's a very safe shield in Shadow Ball. Shadow Ball will easily be taking care of the Medicham, going for the undercharge, wanting to try and get extra farm. Basically just get it to 1 HP, and then just let yourself get taken out. Oh, interestingly enough, basically just decides to try and minimize Noctowl farm in this moment. Firing off the Shadow Ball. This is double resisted, but it doesn't matter, because this Shadow Ball is going to be able to comfortably get it into a range where a Zap Cannon is going to KO. And the Zap Cannon is... Oh my goodness, wait! Hold on! I'm gonna go back. Is this a loss? Hello? Yeah, undercharges. I didn't think he made the Shadow Ball there. Oh my goodness. I stayed up till like 3 a.m. working on the Steelix video yesterday. So this morning. So I am a bit out of it. There. Goes with the Zap Cannon. It's the Shadow Ball. Had the perfect alignment. But, oh my goodness, able to outplay in this moment. Shadow Ball KOs, and you can see he is stunned. He's like, I won that? What a play. Oh my goodness. Took advantage of the desync timers there. They weren't desynced by much. Beautiful gameplay there. Was mon for mon hard countered and forces a game 3. Wow. That is crazy right there. Unreal gameplay. That's where even the smallest desynced timers can prove to be very lethal. All right, chat, here we go. Game 3. Let's see it. We have Registeel into the Noctowl again. Save switch into the Medicham. Medicham met with Trevenant, and for a 3rd game in a row, we have complete hard counter. Oh my goodness. That is just absolutely brutal. Ice Punch lands. Trevenant going to be able to tank this no problem, and can very comfortably farm up and fire off the Shadow Ball before the 2nd Ice Punch is reached. It's a very uncomfortable situation to commit a shield in, but at the same time, you feel like you kind of need switch. He's gonna let it go, trusting in the fact that he baited out the Trevenant, but unfortunately there is a harder counter waiting for that. There's a harder counter waiting for that Stunfisk in the back. Oh, that's brutal. The nice thing is Noctowl does get a lot of farm here. Going to be firing off the Shadow Ball, maybe thinking that he wasn't going to be able to make it to 2 Seed Bombs, and I believe that read is correct. Because I don't believe he would have made the double Seed Bomb. Shadow Ball does do slightly more, that's correct. Knocked Owl does leave with energy. Immediately going to bring in the Registeel. Timer not quite up yet, so Reggie gets a nice energy lead. In comes the Stunfisk, met with the Obstagoon. And this is one situation where having Cross Chop is very nice. This Cross Chop is going to do a significant amount of damage in this matchup. Going straight for the Earthquake. And an immediate shield from Kokshock, and that is really unfortunate. As basically, you have to land an Earthquake in this matchup, and the first one being shielded is just going to allow Goon to outpace so much. That is very unfortunate there. Cross Chop, able to land a ton of damage, and from here, I mean, you can just Night Slash if you're the Obstagoon. Knows it's only a Rock Slide, gonna be letting this go. And Knocked Owl does have energy, but Knocked Owl is just not going to be able to put in enough work against the Registeel. Obstagoon gets the full farm down as well. In comes the Knocked Owl. Knocked Owl loses CMP to Obstagoon. Knocked Owl notoriously tanky, but that does come at a price of having not the highest attack stat. Night Slash is able to land. Knocked Owl is going to return fire with the Sky Attack, but this Sky Attack is not lethal from this range. Kokshock's Obstagoon is going to be able to tank this and survive it. So Sky Attack lands. Obstagoon tanks it, firing off the Night Slash. And this Night Slash is going to be getting that Knocked Owl very low. At this point, you just try and save shields for the Registeel's moves. Gonna send in the Registeel. Registeel going for the Zap Cannon, going for that debuff. Knocked Owl basically gonna try and force Kokshock to farm it down. His Zap Cannon lands. Is there a debuff? Yes, there is, adding insult to injury. That is really unfortunate here. Firing off the Shadow Ball. And, oh man, this is just absolutely brutal. Shadow Ball is able to land. That's just not doing nearly enough damage after the debuff. Continuing to farm with the Registeel. Registeel able to outpace by a turn and reach a second Zap Cannon. Knocked Owl is going to commit the final shield. Is there going to be a second debuff? Zap Cannon lands. There's a second debuff as well. That is absolutely heartbreaking because this Shadow Ball is not going to be enough to KO. It is double debuffed. This Shadow Ball just does absolutely no damage. Registeel is going to be able to take this game. Knocked Owl forced to fire off the Shadow Ball. And, I mean, he had the move. He can just let it go. Shadow Ball is going to take out the Reggie. Obstagoon still alive in the back. Obstagoon able to take down the Knocked Owl. And Kokshock is able to proceed with a 2-game-to-1 victory. That game 2 was extremely impressive, though. Being able to fight back against some absolutely miserable RPS. Ooh, we have Tomahawk here. Okay. Let's take a look at these teams. We have Bakemi 1 versus Tomahawk. Sableye. We have, again, Knocked Owl very, very prevalent in this regionals. Very prevalent. I agree, Richard. It is awesome to see. We have Sableye, Medicham, Galarian Stunfisk, Azumarill, Knocked Owl, and Lickitung versus Lickitung, Medicham, Knocked Owl, Frostlass, Shadow Swampert, and Galarian Stunfisk. Yo, let's go! Ivan with the 3-month membership and a belated happy birthday. Oh my goodness, happy birthday. You love to see it. I'm gonna do these jumping jacks right away. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Hope it was a good birthday, man. That's awesome. The Frostlass pick is kind of cool, but the rest is pretty par for the course here. This Swampert is just absolute filth against Bakemi's team. There are 0 things on Bakemi's team that want to see Shadow Swampert with energy. You can pretty safely, like, Shadow Swampert would be an incredibly potent safe switch for Tomahawk because there's no Trevenant to check it. I'm doing well, Ivan. I'm doing well. So we'll have to see. I'm expecting a heavy dose of that Shadow Swampert here. Yeah, Tomahawk versus Bakemi. Game 1 starting momentarily. Here we go. Or not? Here we go. We have Medicham into Lickitung. This is an incredibly neutral matchup. So honestly, both sides can play it out, but he's going to save switch here. Interestingly enough, he chooses to not bring the Shadow Swampert, and Frostlass is going to be met with Lickitung. The nice thing is Frostlass can typically force a shield in this matchup because Avalanche is an incredibly powerful move. Going to be, yo, what's up, Erickson? Going to be firing off that first Avalanche. That just deals so much damage. Frostlass continuing to farm this Power Whip is not going to be lethal. So if Tomahawk wants, he can just force shield advantage here. He is going to be actually committing the shield. So Tomahawk trying to make a play for switch advantage, but this is a very tough matchup to do so. Continuing to farm, firing off. He's very close to the back-to-back avalanches. Tomahawk trying to make a play for switch, maybe anticipating the fact that his Knocked Owl could have a rough matchup in the back, able to reach another avalanche. But Kami is going to double shield, so he does get shield advantage, but it's not looking like he's going to be able to get switch, because this does look like this is farm down range for the Lickitung. Lickitung going for the farm down, trusting in his counter. This is going to be very close. It'll be razor thin margin here. It'll be a razor thin margin. Firing off the Ice Beam. Ice Beam does get the shield. Knocked Owl goes for the Sky Attack. I think may have needed to go for the Shadow Ball here. Sky Attack onto the Azu. Azu survives and gets off the Ice Beam. Oh my goodness, fell just short of the Shadow Ball there. And a heartbreaking game one for Tomahawk. He did make it very close. Also, we have Kokshock in chat as well. All right, Kokshock, no spoilers, no spoilers. Obviously, you know what happened, but no spoilers. Welcome in. Man, that was a close one. Also, as I mentioned, if my calls are a bit off today, I was up till 3 a.m. this morning working on the Shadow Steelix video. So, I'm tired, but I'm here. This is, I believe, Tomahawk versus Bakemi. This is, winners, and this is top 8. No excuses, play like a champion. Aye, aye, Captain. Yo, what's up, Lunar Greninja? Alright. We're gonna keep scrubbing through. All right, Chad, here we go. Game number 2. Do we see that Shadow Swampert come out? Let's take a peek. We do see the Shadow Swampert in the back. We have Noctowl into Medicham. Typically a favorable matchup for the Noctowl, but Medicham is able to outpace, and double Ice Punch plus counter is lethal. Medicham is going to strike first, going for the Ice Punch. Immediate no-shield from Tomahawk. He knows that he will be able to tank 1, and then if he wants to, he can overfarm before firing off Sky Attack number 2. Going to save switch into the Azumarill. Azu is going to be met with a Sky Attack, and unfortunate timing there from Tomahawk as Bakemi is able to get an entire bubble through. Hey, sounds good, Kokshock, no worries. The Avada should be up later as well. Gonna bring in the Shadow Swampert. Shadow Swampert, this should just about be Hydro Cannon. Sorry, this should just about be Earthquake range for the Shadow Swampert. Firing off the Ice Beam. Ice Beam will do some solid damage onto the Shadow Swampert. Swampert is going to be able to hang on. Farming up quite a bit of energy. Going for the Hydro Cannon bait. Oh my goodness. This could be a turning point in the match. Does Bakemi commit a shield here? Bakemi does commit the shield and gets baited. You can see the disappointment there, as that is a massive bait from Tomahawk on the CMP. That is absolutely wild. Going to be committing the shield on the Ice Beam. Tomahawk continues to farm up. Tomahawk farming very close to 100 energy and gonna go straight for the Earthquake. Immediate no shield from Bakemi. Bakemi is gonna be letting this through. This Earthquake is going to be lethal onto the Azumarill and able to take switch, and does have some energy but falls just short of the Hydro. That overfarm by Tomahawk almost gave him an extra charge move versus the Medicham, which would have been massive. All right, going to be waiting time here. Brings in the Noctowl. Noctowl going to be firing off the Sky Attack. This Sky Attack is going to be doing a lot of damage onto the Medicham. Medicham is going to be letting that through, as Sky Attack will do a lot, but it is not going to be lethal, and it's a CMP tie. This Ice Punch will be fatal. Does Tomahawk commit a shield to the Noctowl, or does he let it go? He's going to let it go. Tomahawk is going to be trusting in his Medicham, and now we have the one shield matchup, Medicham versus Lickitung. This could come down to whether a Psychic is able to land or get shielded. Lickitung is going to strike first, going for the Body Slam. Medicham is going to be committing the shield here, as you know they're going for Body Slams anyway, so you may as well commit a shield. Going one extra counter, going for the Ice Punch bait. This is massive. Does Bakemi commit the shield here? Bakemi does commit the shield and shields the Ice Punch. This is big. Medicham continuing to farm. Needs to make it to that Psychic. And this Body Slam is going to land. Not going to be lethal, but is going to get Medicham into the red. So Medicham is going to be very low on Tomahawk's side. This Body Slam lands. Timer not up, so he can safely go for the Psychic as soon as he gets it. This Psychic is going to be lethal. And then we do know there's a very low health Medicham on Bakemi's side. Can Bakemi reach an Ice Punch here? This is going to be close. Bakemi farming up, going for the Ice Punch. He falls just short, and Tomahawk evens it up 1-1. Wow. That Ice Punch bait there by Tomahawk was the literal difference in the game. Madness. Yo, what's up, Chillers? Congrats on Legend, by the way. I was checking out that video before I went live. It is... Yo, what's up, GIX? Yeah, we do have a Kokshock in chat with us. It is pretty late over in Europe, but he's hanging out with us here for a bit, which is nice. All right, chat, here we go. Game number 3. Will we see Tomahawk get the come from behind win, or are we going to see Bakemi able to outlast? We see Lickitung into Frostlass, generally uncomfortable lead, but Frostlass does have play here. Frostlass staying in here, these licks adding up quite a bit, but as we've seen, double Avalanche is typically lethal after the Powder Snow damage. Going to be firing off the Avalanche. Immediate no shield from Bakemi. Bakemi knows he's going to be able to survive this. Bakemi continuing to farm up. Should be going for the Power Whip here shortly. Goes for the Body Slam bait, but it's caught onto Medicham. Tomahawk able to preserve the Frostlass with energy for later, which is quite nice. That Body Slam is able to land. Medicham met with the Azumarill. With that Body Slam chip, it does put it into play rough range, which is pretty nice for the Azumarill. firing off the Psychic right away. Immediate no shield from the Azu. Definitely not going to be shielding the first move. Have to be leery of a potential defense drop. Psychic lands on the Azu. No defense drop. Immediate play rough by the Azu. Not wanting to take any additional damage in this matchup. Tomahawk is going to commit the shield. Oh my goodness. He is committing to this Medicham. Not the most comfortable matchup for Medicham, but Medicham does have some play here. Very nice timing, as you can see. Tomahawk very precise with when he throws his charge moves. Going for the Psychic. Psychic is going to be able to land. The nice thing about committing a shield in this matchup is he's now got it into a range where a Shadow Ball is going to be lethal. Going for the Ice Beam here. Ice Beam, it'll be close. I think Medi will actually live this. Tomahawk commits the shield, and it's the Ice Beam. That is a bit unfortunate. Tomahawk going to be going for the Psychic. This Psychic is going to be shielded by Bakemi. Bakemi trying to keep switch advantage. He knows having Lickitung on Frostlass is very nice, but Frostlass with energy will prove to be incredibly deadly. And we see that Swampert looking deadly in the back as well. In comes the Lickitung, and Lickitung is met with the Frostlass. Frostlass is going to be able to take it out with the Avalanche, and that Shadow Swampert. Now the Lickitung is out of the way, looking incredibly deadly as a closer. In comes the Galarian Stunfisk. Stunfisk farming up here. Stunfisk not going to be able to outpace the Frostlass, as Frostlass is able to reach the Avalanche. This will hit for neutral damage, and this is going to be doing quite a lot of it at that. Avalanche is able to land. Stunfisk over farming as much as they can, probably farming up to the back-to-back, and they do. This Rock Slide is going to be lethal. Rock Slide is going to be taking out the Frostlass. The question is, Shadow Swampert, from full health, I believe it should be able to tank an Earthquake, but it's not particularly comfortable. But if you're Tomahawk, you recognize you have the Shadow Swampert, I can bring in Medicham and then force Stunfisk's energy. Because if you force the Earthquake, the game's over, and that's exactly what he does. Very, very nicely done there by Tomahawk. Recognizing that a Rock Slide is not lethal, you can get Stunfisk to waste all of their energy, and then Shadow Swampert is in a great position to close out this match. If you're Swampert here, you can just go for the farm down, basically. They're going to fire off the Rock Slide. Rock Slide going to be getting some chip damage, trying to get it into range where a move from Azumarill is going to be lethal. In comes the Azu with the move, but he anticipates the snipe. What a play by Tomahawk, anticipating the play rough snipe, throwing the Hydro Cannon when he couldn't even see the switch. What a play by Tomahawk. Oh my word. What a play. Because if you wait to see the switch, you're too late. If you wait to see the switch, you're too late. Let's rewind here for a second. If you wait to see the switch, and here he recognizes this Rock Slide puts me into range where a play rough will be scary. So he clicks on the Hydro without seeing the switch. My goodness, what a play. Anticipating the snipe, being able to win CMP over the Azumarill, and just like that, Tomahawk is able to win 2-1 over Bakemi, and Tomahawk is going to move on to, I believe it's going to be Tomahawk versus Kokshock for a ticket to Japan. It would have been very close, David. Yo, what's up, Dr. Stalemate? Alright, we get to continue on, chat. We get to continue on. We get to dodge all of the stalling. Wait, is that... Have they shown teams yet? Okay. Wait, time out. I want to see teams. Alright, we have Aemon versus Aspercelto. So, Aemon running the Toxapex. That is very interesting. So, we have Noctowl, Toxapex, Galarian Stunfisk, Trevenant, another Frostlass sighting, and Scrafty. Honestly, we haven't seen a lot of Scrafty. Typically, Medicham is the preferred fighter, just because Medicham is able to more oftenly beat other fighters, but Scrafty does pick up Trevenant coverage with it as well. The unfortunate thing is, Aspercelto is not running a Trevenant. Aspercelto does have the Noctowl, Sableye, Registeel, Venusaur, Azumarill, and a Medicham. Yo, what's up, Artur? Why did I not come to Warsaw? It's an expensive trip, unfortunately. Yo, what's up, Golf Professor? So, if we're taking a peek at these teams here, overall, Noctowl, if it steers clear of the Reggie, does have quite a bit of play. Frostlass has more checks to it than most teams typically do. Yeah, Randy, I was visiting family for the weekend, but now I am back, which is nice. And then it is a very dicey, like, proposition to bring the Azumarill, knowing that Aemon has the Toxapex. And honestly, Toxapex looks really, really nice. Because Toxapex is going to do pretty nicely against 4 of the 6. Obviously, Sableye and Reggie are uncomfortable, but I feel like we definitely could see some Toxapex here. Yo, what's up, Sesquipedalian? How's it going? Yeah, a lot of Noctowl. Yo, what's up, Heidi and Papa? How's it going? All right, making some last-minute notes. Great question, Sesquipedalian. That's just what I call buddies when they're perfect IV. It's your hometown? Oh, that's awesome, Arthur. That's awesome. Maybe one day if I have the means to. I would love to travel in the future. All right, here we go. Hopping into game number... Oh, we're not hopping into game number 1. We got baited. Just kidding. It's more teams. More teams. We got baited. We got baited. That's fair, Rafal. That's fair, yeah. Northern Hemisphere definitely getting a lot chillier this time of year. Yeah, I shielded that bait, chat. I shielded that bait. What Shundos do I have? I have a Shundo Gorobus and a Shundo Magmortar. That's awesome, Heidi. Let's go. All right. The stalling has reached brand new, never before seen levels. Oh, game 1. Okay, we're here. That's awesome, Emmanuel. All right, game number 1. We have Noctowl into Sableye. This is a very nice lead for Aemon. We do see Aemon is rocking the Stunfisk and the Trevenant in the back. A save switch into Registeel. Registeel is met with the Trevenant, but baiting out the Trevenant is what Aspercelto needs. If you take a peek as to what he has in the back, as you can see, he does have that Azumarill. So once Trevenant is out of the way, and we see a Flash Cannon sighting, he's running Flash Cannon to bait out the Trevenant. Oh my word. Aspercelto with a spicy moveset. You love to see it. Shadow Ball is able to land. That does a ton of damage. Flash Cannon does allow Registeel to pace at the same time as Trevenant. So with the energy lead, Reggie's able to force a shield in this matchup. What's up, Leo? Good to see you. Wow. First Flash Cannon we have seen. Trevenant should be able to get the farm down here. Trevenant's energy is going to put in a lot of work against this Sableye, as one Shadow Claw is not going to KO, so Aemon should be able to get off 2 moves here. Going to be waiting the timer. Aspercelto is going to bring in the Sableye, does get the move through, and knowing there's a Noctowl, I think you just save shields for Azu in this moment. Shields the Sableye! I'm honestly not 100% sure on that. Going for the Seed Bomb. Seed Bomb, of course, is lower damage, so did shield the higher damage move. But shielding your Sableye, knowing there's a Noctowl there, honestly, is a bit rough. In comes the Noctowl. Sableye gonna fire off the Foul Play, hoping that Foul Play is gonna put it into Ice Beam range. So going to be firing off the Foul Play. Foul Play. Immediate no shield from Aemon. He knows he is going to be able to live it. In comes the Azumarill. Azu is running Ice Beam Play Rough, but even with Ice Beam Play Rough, it is generally a favorable matchup going up against the Galarian Stunfisk. Going for the Shadow Ball, slightly less efficient, but slightly more damage. Firing off the Shadow Ball. Shadow Ball is able to land. Azumarill continuing to farm. A switch into Stunfisk to absorb the energy. I like the play here from Aemon, basically forcing Aspercelto to use energy in a situation where it's neutral instead of going to be super effective. So firing off the Ice Beam. Ice Beam does get the shield. Aspercelto continues to farm. This is not quite Earthquake range, but Earthquake would be doing a lot of damage. Earthquake would do the most. Aspercelto, tough decision to make, lets it through, and it is the Earthquake. That does a lot of damage. Going to be firing off the Ice Beam. This Ice Beam is going to be able to land on the Stunfisk. The nice thing is switch timers are misaligned, so hopefully Aspercelto can take advantage of this. Aspercelto's timer is almost up. Can he catch the Rock Slide? He cannot, but he does still have a shield remaining. Aspercelto, decision time. He's going to let it go. He's trusting in the Sableye to try and clutch this out. In comes the Sableye. Sableye kind of low on HP, but Sableye is going to be able to get a nice amount of energy here. Sableye not going to be able to farm down, so Sableye will have to throw, and the unfortunate thing is I'm pretty sure Noctowl has a move loaded here. So he can just continue to farm, basically just force him to throw a move. He does get the back-to-back, and he catches onto the Noctowl. What a beautiful play, because foul play is not lethal here. He needed a return. That is an unreal catch by Aemon, and the prediction, and that will win Aemon the game. Recognizing that Aspercelto needed to maximize energy, fire off the move on CMP, catches the lower damage foul play onto the Noctowl. What a read by Aemon. Oh my goodness. Trevenant was baited out. He was very weak to Azu, but a beautiful catch is going to secure the game 1 win for Aemon. Wow. Oh my goodness. That's awesome, Phil. Good luck with that. Also, welcome in. Shy, how's it going? Also, Kokshock with the membership. Oh my goodness. Much appreciated. Thank you for the support. All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, it definitely would have been a photo finish, Golf. It would have been a photo finish. There is if you type ! Discord, it should pull up a link to the Discord. And that's where a lot of us hang out in between streams and stuff like that. You're far too kind to me, Kokshock. Bringing Victini to regionals, incredible stuff. Legitimately, like, I love seeing atypical picks put in work, and that's exactly what happened. Great question, Brendan. Jonkus was unfortunately eliminated day 1, and then this is day 2. So this is Warsaw top 8. Set for disappointment, stalemate. All right, chat, here we go. Game number 2, we see Noctowl into Sableye again. Really unfortunate lead for Aspercelto. Save switch into the Registeel, brings in the Trevenant, but as we know, thanks to Flash Cannon, Registeel can force a shield in this matchup. Registeel going straight for the Flash Cannon. This Flash Cannon is going to hurt, rocking the Trevenant. Trevenant is going to continue to farm. Trevenant farming up close to 100 energy, and going to be firing off the Shadow Ball. The Shadow Ball will do a lot. Does Aspercelto try and make a play for switch? He does not. He's going to let that go. Shadow Ball does a lot of damage. Aspercelto, due to the energy lead, again, will be able to outpace and force a shield from Aemon if Aemon wants to keep switch. And that's exactly what he's going to do. Aemon is wanting to try and keep switch advantage here. So Aemon will commit the shield and look to go for the farm down. And as we saw before, playing out very similarly to a previous game, as this energy from Trevenant is very useful. But if you take a peek at what Aspercelto has in the backline, he now has Medicham for the Galarian Stunfisk, and that Medicham is going to be able to put in a ton of work. In comes Sableye. Is he willing to shield like he did last time? He is. He is going to shield the Shadow Ball. Shadow Ball would do a lot. Not able to get off another move. A mistake from Aemon. Aemon did have the Seed Bomb, but tried to make it to another Shadow Ball. And now in comes Sableye. At this point, you have to stay in with Sableye to force the Noctowl to throw, and then you can bring in the Medicham. Because Owl with an energy lead will do very, very well going up against the Medicham. And if you're Aemon, the fact that he's staying in should clue you into the fact that your Noctowl will probably have value in the back. So going to be firing off this Sky Attack. Sky Attack not going to be lethal. Sableye is going to let it go. Sableye going for another foul play. Again, this is not lethal, but he just wants to put it into counter down range, and Aemon's going to let him do it. Aemon not necessarily reading the Medicham in the back. Foul play not going to be lethal, but this is counter down range. In comes the Medicham. Immediate shield from Aspercelto. He is hard reading that Stunfisk in the back, and he wants this Medicham to close out this game. Noctowl is going to get some extra wing attacks. In comes the Stunfisk, and that's what Aspercelto needed to see. Going to let this move through, as he knows he is going to have to tank at least one Ice Punch in this matchup. Ice Punch lands. Ice Punch, not the strongest move ever. Aemon going straight for that Earthquake. This Earthquake is definitely going to hurt. Aspercelto just going for the farm. Earthquake plus Rock Slide. The question is, because he did take a couple wing attacks, Earthquake plus Rock Slide is still not going to be lethal, but Aspercelto is going to get rid of this final shield. Firing off the Ice Punch, Aemon is going to be forced to commit the final shield because he needs to try and get rid of this Medicham by any means necessary. Switch timer not up for anyone yet. Going for another Ice Punch, not able to get there. This Rock Slide is resisted. Medicham should be able to hang on here, but this is going to be extremely close. Firing off the Rock Slide, undercharging it. He wants the farm, but his timer's not up. In comes Sableye. Sableye gets the farm down. In comes the Noctowl. Noctowl not able to get there. Sableye with the foul play, flipping the script, taking out the Noctowl, and Aspercelto with the team switch up, able to even the series. Wow. Both sides wanted farm for each other, but due to the desync timers, Aspercelto was able to take advantage of it. Very nicely done. Very nicely done. As we are going to hop into game number 3 here. Time to skip through. These are some phenomenal battles so far. Yes, Kokshock. This will stay live. It typically has to clear copyright first, but it will stay live. All right, here we go, chat. Game number 3. Let's take a look. We have Registeel into Noctowl, a dominant lead for Aspercelto. Aemon is going to be save switching into the Stunfisk, but if you take a look, Aspercelto doesn't have a good response to his Stunfisk save switch. Going to stay in with the Registeel, go straight for the Focus Blast. No point in baiting a Flash Cannon, only to save 1 turn. Stunfisk is going to commit the shield, recognizing that if they're staying in, he may not have a good response in the back. He's going to overfarm to the back-to-back rock sides, go straight for the Quake. Decision time for Aspercelto is Aemon baiting. Aspercelto lets it go, and the Earthquake rocks the Registeel, dealing a ton of damage. The Stunfisk trying to get it close, but unfortunately overtaps and is now going to have to eat a Focus Blast from the Registeel. Could have fired off the Rock Slide. I don't think Rock Slide quite would have been enough, but it would have been a lot of damage. Going to send in the Sableye now. Firing off the Rock Slide, hoping to get off the back-to-back Rock Slides in this matchup. Firing off the first onto the Sableye. Sableye commits the shield, so the decision to not go for the Earthquake, but instead to go double Rock Slide proves to be very nice, because this Rock Slide will put the Sableye pretty close to a range where a single move from Noctowl is going to KO. Firing off the Rock Slide will do quite a bit of damage. And now, you've baited out the Sableye, but if you take a peek, there's Noctowl waiting in the back for that Trevenant, which is really not good. Noctowl going to have to put in a lot of work in this matchup if Aemon is going to want to try and advance. Firing off the foul play. Decision time for Aemon. Aemon is going to let it through. Foul play is going to do a decent amount of damage. Sableye continuing to farm. Reaches the Sky Attack before the foul play. This is big. This puts a lot of pressure onto Aspercelto here. Aspercelto is going to let the Sableye go. Sableye gets taken out. Registeel is quite low. Registeel doesn't have any energy. Brings in the Trevenant, and it's the Noctowl in the back. And you see the sigh and putting the head down there, as that has removed any Yeah, Flash Cannon does a lot to Trev. That's a crazy decision to forego Zap Cannon, but it paid out in a massive way. It paid off in a massive way. So let's take a look at these teams. For Ripley, we have Lickitung, we have Medicham, we have Altaria, Nidoqueen, and then triple ground here with the Nidoqueen, Stunfisk, and the Swampert. And oh man, Chad, do y'all see what I see on Aries' side? He has Walrein, and Walrein absolutely eats Ripley's team. Oh my goodness. Yeah, exactly, Adrian. That Walrein gonna feast. Holy. And then for Aries, he has Medicham, Stunfisk, Trevenant. He brings the Noctowl again. Interestingly enough, Ripley choosing to forgo the Noctowl instead of the Altaria, and then we have the Swampert and the Walrein. But Walrein is going to put in an absurd amount of work there. Yeah, Walrein Noctowl Core. Walrein Noctowl Core looks really, really nice because Noct can handle the two biggest threats, which are going to be the Lickitung and the Medicham, and then Walrein takes care of the rest. Ooh, that's a tough one, Stalemate. Ooh, Shadow Hitmonchan, I bet will put in a lot of work. All right, here we go. Hopping into game number 1. I'm expecting to see a heavy dose of Walrein, and we do see Medicham into Noctowl. Bit of an uncomfortable lead. Immediate save switch into Nidoqueen, and Nidoqueen is met with the Shadow Swampert, and this is just rock, paper, scissors here. Absolutely brutal. The moment Ripley gave up switch, it was more or less game over, because we see that Walrein in the back, lurking, ready to absolutely destroy the Altaria. Firing off a Poison Fang bait. Aries is going to commit the shield, so Aries shielding baits, but even so, this is just such a brutal matchup, because Swampert can fire off the Hydro before he's able to reach his Earth Power, because Swampert is even able to outpace the Fangs. Ripley double shielding, recognizing switch will be nice, going straight for the Earth Power here. Oh my goodness. Decision time for Aries. Is he gonna let it go? He does not. He commits the shield. That's a massive shield. And now he can pretty comfortably take switch. He is debuffed. He doesn't want to take any additional jabs, so he's going to overfarm by 1, fire off the Hydro Cannon, and Hydro Cannon is going to be enough to KO easily. And now, do you bring in the Altaria to get an energy lead here if you're Ripley? I think the answer is yes. But he's actually going to bring in the Medicham. Medicham going to be hit with a Hydro, and this is going to hurt. Altaria would wall the Swampert's energy, but then you're showing Aries your third. But either way, in this game, it's not going to matter. In comes the Noctowl. All Noctowl has to do is reach the Sky Attack. Sky Attack will be reached before the double Ice Punch here. Ripley is going to fire off that first Ice Punch. And we could see a catch on the side of Ripley. Aries overfarming, goes for the catch, and it's Walrein into Altaria. Walrein doing what it does best, absolutely smacking birds out of the sky. He's just not even throwing a charge move. He knows it's done. Oh my goodness. This Icicle Spear, massive damage, able to KO the Altaria, and Walrein back from the dead. Its demise apparently completely overstated as Walrein takes out the Altaria and the Medicham. Take game 1, and as predicted, that Walrein putting in a ton of work for Aries. Alright, let's skip ahead here, chat. Oh, we went too far, Alright, we have game number 2. As we saw, it's Lickitung into Walrein. If you're the non-Shadow Walrein, this matchup is quite uncomfortable because double spear is not close enough to threatening a farm down. So we see an immediate save switch into the Medicham, and Medicham save switch is doable because Ripley doesn't have a ghost type like Trevenant to threaten a hard punish to a Medicham save switch, going straight for the Psychic, wanting to punish a no-shield, but an immediate shield from Ripley. This is an interesting matchup. Swampert is able to outpace, of course, quite a bit, but Medicham does have the fast move pressure, and as we see, the Psychic did get the defense drop, which is quite nice for Aries. Firing off the Hydro Cannon, we do see a shield from the Medicham. Swampert trying to make it to the Earthquake. but not before Medicham reaches the Ice Punch. And thanks to defense being at -1, Ice Punch would just about be lethal here. So we do see Swampert committing the shield in this matchup. Swampert massively over-farming at the back-to-back Hydro Cannons. Aries is going to let it go. Firing off this Hydro Cannon. Hydro Cannon is able to land. That does quite a bit of damage. Continuing to farm up here. Farms up to what would have been CMP and firing off the last second Hydro Cannon. We see a shield from the Medicham because that counter went through. That counter is going to KO and Aries takes Switch. Let's go back here and witness. Let's go back here and witness the 5-head play by Aries. Oh my goodness. This is a beautiful play by Aries in this moment. Aries has 2 shields, recognizes that he is in a pretty nice spot where if the opponent farms up and throws on what would be CMP, he can farm down and leave with a move. Look, he doesn't throw his Ice Punch. Instead, he goes for the extra knowing that he can shield, it will KO, and then he leaves with an Ice Punch, which he can get some extra damage off, or even a Psychic, because he is going to be able to tank the licks and get the Psychic. That is an insane read by Aries, anticipating the CMP attempt and just farming down. And that Psychic deals massive damage. In comes the Medicham. Medicham is going to get the counter down, but now Medicham is going to be met with the Noctowl. And Noctowl in a pretty comfortable spot here. Aries is going to be waiting his clock. Going to bring in the Noctowl. Noctowl is your best bet to inflict a lot of damage here. Walrein just can't output the damage in this matchup. Noctowl farming up. Ripley tries to go for CMP, firing off the Ice Punch here. This Ice Punch going to take the Noctowl into the yellow, but it's not going to be enough. Going for the Shadow Ball. Shadow Ball does do more damage. Both do super effective. Shadow Ball coming through onto the Medicham. Noctowl gets the Medicham very low. Medicham goes for the Ice Punch, but the catch! Aries playing chess when the opponent is playing checkers. What a catch! Oh my goodness. Aries finishing off the game with style with that catch. Wow. Able to reach the Icicle Spear. This is not lethal, but this is already game over. Yeah, Aries woke up and chose violence on this day. Icicle Spear lands. Lickitung continuing to farm. Power Whip not even lethal from this range. Firing off the Power Whip, and Walrein is fine here. Walrein very safely can let this go. This Power Whip is not lethal. Walrein going to be able to survive the licks and get the Icicle Spear. Icicle Spear is going to be taking care of the Lickitung. And Aries with the decisive 2-0 win. Aries moves on. I'm excited to see more from Aries. Those were some beautiful battles right there. And now we can skip ahead. Alright. Ooh, we have more Aspercelto. Let's go. I really enjoyed watching him battle. Aspercelto, I believe, has the Flash Cannon Reggie. We have Bakemi. We've seen both these competitors before, so this, I believe, is the loser's bracket. This is win or go home with the Sableye, Medicham. We have the Lickitung, Azu, and then we have the Stunfisk and the Noctowl. We see the Noctowls on both sides here, but different choice of steals. We have the Registeel running Flash Cannon Focus Blast instead of Zap Cannon compared to the Galarian Stunfisk. Outside of that, very similar teams. Azu, Medi, Sableye, all the same, but with Venusaur being added instead of Lickitung. And Venusaur, honestly, has a ton of play for Aspercelto. Bakemi had some tough matchups, yeah. This Venusaur is brutal. Like, that Venusaur, Registeel Core goes crazy for Aspercelto. My man, do you mean public by chance? Because I do plan on keeping it public. Yo, what's up, Dallas? How's it going? Yeah. Walrein's retirement short-lived. Alright, let me see. Is that Leandro in back? I think that's Leandro back there. Alright. Alright. We get to skip ahead past the stalling. That's the nice thing about it being a VOD. All right, here we go. Game number 1. I would be shocked if we didn't see Venusaur somewhere. And we see the Galarian Stunfisk into the Noctowl. Very tough lead. Aspercelto is going to save switch into Medicham, met with the Sableye. Absolutely brutal start for Aspercelto. Didn't bring the Venusaur and is getting punished for it. Firing off the Ice Punch. Ice Punch does some okay chip damage to Sableye, but Sableye does not have to shield the first. Sableye going to be able to tank that, no problem. And these Shadow Claws are just doing so much damage. Firing off Ice Punch number 2. If Bakemi lets this go, then this Sableye is going to get quite low. But Bakemi is going to try and farm it into a range where a foul play is going to be lethal. Bakemi, well over 100 energy there, could have fired it off earlier, but instead choosing to take some additional damage onto the Sableye, fires off the foul play, and foul play is going to be able to KO. So Bakemi trying to limit the Noctowl farm, which is honestly a pretty nice play. So he went over 100 energy, but this way he limits Noctowl's farm. Oh, he could have made the return. He made the return, second guessed himself, and is only going to be able to fire off the foul play there. So an unfortunate situation there for Bakemi, but in comes the Stunfisk. He's still in a pretty nice spot here, but it is going to get a bit tricky because that Azu in the back does have a lot of play. He's going to fire off the Rock Slide into this Noctowl. Rock Slide is able to land. A second Rock Slide will easily be fatal. Firing off the Shadow Ball. Shadow Ball is not lethal, so he's going to let it go on the Stunfisk here. A Stunfisk is able to tank one, but a second one will get a little dicey. Continuing to overfarm, firing off the Rock Slide. This Rock Slide will, of course, be lethal. Does Aspercelto commit a shield? He does. He is going to try and keep this Noctowl alive. Stunfisk has absolutely no farm ability here. Continuing to farm up. Continuing to farm, maybe a miscount there from Aspercelto, and now he's forced to burn both shields onto this Noctowl. Noctowl is going to leave with a lot of energy, but at a 0-2 shield disadvantage, this is an uncomfortable spot to be in. Building up to the back-to-back Sky Attacks versus Bakemi. Decision time for Bakemi. Is he willing to shield in this matchup? He does! He shields last second and shields a Sky Attack. That is unfortunate. A switch into Azu, going for the catch, able to reach an Earthquake. This Earthquake is going to do some nice damage onto the Azu. The hardest hitting move that Bakemi could land off his remaining 2 Pokemon. He gets to land it, and that's quite nice. In comes the Noctowl. But the uncomfortable thing is Aspercelto's Noctowl does have energy, and these Ice Beams from Azumarill are going to hit for super effective damage. So he's going to fire off this Ice Beam. Ice Beam does quite a lot of damage onto the Noctowl. A second Ice Beam will be lethal. But Bakemi does have a shield advantage in this matchup. He's going to farm up and fire off the Sky Attack. Double Sky Attack should be lethal from this range onto the Azumarill. So firing off the first Sky Attack, that is going to get the Azu low, just short of a move. That is unfortunate. Going to be forced to commit that final shield, and as we know, Aspercelto does have energy on his Noctowl, so we do have to watch for a potential snipe. Going to overfarm quite a bit in this matchup. Can Aspercelto get the snipe? He goes for the snipe, but he ends up catching. Oh no! Aspercelto, his timer went up. He goes for the snipe, but he switches into the Sky Attack, loses his energy, and now he gets outpaced by 1 turn. Oh my goodness. Bakemi with the perfect overfarm, able to deny the snipe attempt from Aspercelto, and Bakemi takes game 1. What a crazy end game there. My goodness. That was a beautiful job by Aspercelto of banking energy for a potential snipe, but Bakemi denies the snipe and secures the win. Wow. That is crazy. All of these battles so far have just been incredible. There was, like, just, wow. It is very, very nice to see. All right, game number 2. I'm ready for it. Are y'all ready for it? Buckle up, because it's about to get fun. All right, chat, here we go. We have game number 2. We see Azu into Galarian Stunfisk. This is a good lead for Aspercelto. And even without Hydro, this is a matchup that Azu does win because the bubbles add up quite a bit. Stunfisk staying in here because if you take a look at Bakemi's backline, Bekemi's backline isn't the strongest against the Zoomeril, so he would instead prefer to play out this lead and basically soft lose it. So he's going to fire off that Earthquake. That Earthquake will do quite a bit of damage, going to return fire with the Ice Beam. Ice Beam, of course, not going to be lethal, but thanks to that bubble damage adding up quite a bit, this Ice Beam is going to be getting that Stun Fisk below half health. Continuing to farm, firing off the Earthquake. This Earthquake is going to be getting the Azu very low. Decision time for Aspercelto. Is he going to commit a shield? He is. Aspercelto going to try and win lead. If we take a peek in the back, oh man, Switch matters so much in this game. Oh my. Decision time for Bekemi. Bekemi is going to commit to Switch as well. Bekemi farming up here. Bekemi is going to make the Quake. Tried to go for the catch, but was mid-bubble. This Earthquake is going to be able to land. Aspercelto is going to let it through. Earthquake not enough to KO the Azu. And this means that Bekemi has to go down a shield to win Switch. And Bekemi does not. Bekemi gives up Switch. And I believe that means we will see a game 3 here. That is quite unfortunate because we just have complete counter now that Bekemi has lost Switch. It doesn't matter what he gets farm on. He gets farm on the Sableye. That Sableye energy is going to be met with Noctowl, and he can try and go for a catch onto his own Owl, but it's just going to get punished, unfortunately, by the Registeel. And in the one shield, I don't believe Noctowl is going to be able to stall out the first 60 seconds, so this should more or less be game over. Firing off the Foul Play. Foul Play is able to land, going for the Sky Attack. Sky Attack not going to be lethal, but will do quite a lot of damage. Bekemi is trying to hope that his Noctowl is going to be able to win this for him. He tanks the move. In comes Noctowl. Noctowl met with the Registeel. Oh, but if you remember, chat, if you remember, this Registeel does not have Zap Cannon. Does that make a difference in this matchup? We will have to see. Firing off the Shadow Ball. Shadow Ball landing onto the Registeel. Registeel will need 3 Shadow Balls to KO. Gonna fire off the Flash Cannon. Flash Cannon does get same type attack bonus, but only hits for neutral as opposed to the super effective from Zap Cannon. Flash Cannon able to land. Flash Cannon does a lot of damage, and it looks like double Flash Cannon is still gonna be enough to KO. So Noctowl still in a very tough spot. Noctowl firing off another Shadow Ball here. This Shadow Ball is gonna be able to land onto the Registeel. Aspercelto, honestly, feeling pretty okay about it. Gonna fire off the Flash Cannon. Noctowl in a tough spot. Just gonna let this go. Trusting in the Sableye to try and win this game. Can Sableye get a farm down here? That is gonna KO. In comes Sableye. Sableye looking for the farm down, but here's where Flash Cannon, being a fast move, is really unfortunate for Bekemi, as Bekemi is forced to burn a shield. Only 14 turns to that Flash Cannon makes it very fast. In comes the Noctowl. Noctowl is going to be hit with the return, but with a shield up, I mean, this game is already done. Aspercelto is going to be able to commit the shield and then just go for the Sky Attack. Sky Attack is going to take out the Sableye, and we are going to see a game 3. So very well played there by Aspercelto, and even in a situation where Zap Cannon would hit for super effective, Flash Cannon still put in a lot of work. Yo, what's up, Skeeter? How's it going? Very nicely done there. Alright, I am excited to see this game 3, chat. We haven't seen the Venusaur, which is a bit surprising to me, to be honest. Like, you know Noctowl is coming every game, because Noctowl is very good, but I still feel like Venusaur, I am surprised that Aspercelto hasn't brought it. I am surprised for sure. Because Venu has neutral play versus 5 of the 6. That's awesome, Skeeter. Let's go. Congratulations. All right, they're taking their time. All right, chat, here we go. Yo, what's up, music? Good to see you. Game number 3. We see Medicham into Medicham. And if we take a peek, Aspercelto is very strong against Noctowl in the back, which is quite unfortunate if you're Bekemi, because Bekemi does have that Noctowl lurking in the back. Firing off the first Psychic, immediate no shield. from Bekemi. This Psychic is going to do quite a lot of damage, but Medicham will survive it. No defense drop. Continuing to farm. As you can see, Bekemi waited a turn there and fired off the Psychic in the middle of the counter to make sure that Aspercelto is not able to catch. Psychic is able to land. This will come down to who wins CMP in this matchup, as the Medichams will, of course, pace at the same time. Goes for a catch onto Azumarill and catches an Ice Punch. Oh my goodness, Bekemi went for a bait, and Aspercelto catches it on the Azumarill. What a play. Azu met with the Stunfisk, and this is not good, as Bekemi is in a very rough spot here. Bekemi firing off the Earthquake. Bekemi just does not have a response to Azu, and Aspercelto, recognizing that, is now going to invest a lot of shields into this Azumarill, recognizing how valuable it must be in the endgame. Firing off the Ice Beam. Ice Beam, of course, not going to be lethal, but it will be starting to get that Stunfisk quite low. Ice Beam lands. Stunfisk able to hang on. Stunfisk is probably going to be throwing 4 mud shots here and firing off the Earthquake, and that's exactly what they do. The second Earthquake is going to be fired off onto the Azumarill. Aspercelto is double shielding. Oh my goodness. Aspercelto recognizing, as I mentioned, how valuable this Azumarill must be. So he is double shielding, preserving HP. Decision time for Bekemi here. Bekemi is going to commit a shield on the Ice Beam. Bekemi needs to try and land the Earthquake, but in comes a Medicham. Aspercelto is going to save his Azu for later, fire off the Ice Punch, and deny Bekemi's energy. Very nicely done there. And at this point, that Azu should just be able to close out this game. Azu with a shield just wins. Going for the Psychic. Psychic does do slightly more damage in this matchup, even though it is neutral. Fired off the Psychic. Psychic is able to land onto the Noctowl. Noctowl going for the farm down, and it gets it. And Azu, it has energy, and it is incredibly, incredibly healthy. But the unfortunate thing for the Noctowl is going to again be met with the Registeel, but as we see, switch timers are misaligned. Farming up, trying to get to the Psychic, but again, Flash Cannon paying dividends for Aspercelto here. Being able to get to that charge move, that first charge move faster, is proving very, very nice. Trying to switch, not going to be able to get the switch. This Psychic is going to land. It is resisted, but Psychic does put a solid dent in here. Psychic is going to land an immediate switch into the Azumarill. This is very comfortable Ice Beam range. Going to fire off the Ice Beam right away, not wanting to take any additional damage. And Aspercelto should have this, courtesy of the pretty unexpected Flash Cannon Registeel. In comes Noctowl. Noctowl trying to hope that double Shadow Ball is going to be enough to KO here, but unfortunately, double Shadow Ball is not going to be enough to KO, as you see. Even with the wing attacks, I don't believe it's quite going to be enough here. It's going to be very close. But actually, after these wing attacks, I think it might just KO. But there's still that Registeel in the back, and Reggie should be able to close this. Shadow Ball, still not enough to KO. Azumarill hangs on, reaches the last second Ice Beam, and Aspercelto takes the 2-1 victory. And Aspercelto and the Flash Cannon Registeel move on. Yeah, actual 1 HP there. Wow. Yeah, he didn't have a good punish to an Azu safe switch. And so Azu was able to put in a lot of work on the swap there. All right, we have, oh, Aries is back. Okay. Aries is back. So we have the Frostlass, Medicham, Stunfisk. The Lantern, I believe, was on Water Gun, which makes sense because Water Gun allows you a lot more play against Fisk, which is nice. And then we have the Stunfisk, Noctowl, Licky, and then This game is definitely done. Going to be firing off the Earthquake. Earthquake onto the Medicham. Medicham can tank one, no problem. All right, we're back. Going for the Psychic again. Psychic does ever so slightly more damage. So I'm going to fire off the Psychic onto the Stunfisk there. No debuff, but Medicham just in a very comfortable position to close this out. Stunfisk. Ooh, there was a little stutter there on Aries' end. Aries is going to fire off this Earthquake onto the Medicham, but Frostlash just wins this game at this point. He is not going to be able to get the farm he needs, and Frostlash just beats Medicham. So in this moment, Frostlash will just go straight Shadow Ball. Aries will call the bait, and that will be game over. At this point, Aries' win con is calling an Avalanche. Oh, Aries shields. Interesting. I think even with a bait, he doesn't get there. His last, I think, is one off. Yep, even with a bait. I think it's uncomfortable, but in that moment, his only play in that match was to try and call an Avalanche. Because if you call an Avalanche, you can put in work there, but even with the bait, he does get outpaced and drops game one. All right, it backs them out. You love to see it. No technical difficulties. None whatsoever. And someone taught me how to pronounce his name earlier. I think it was Smiatix. Schmiatix, I think it was. I am sure people will correct me if I'm wrong on that, but I believe it was Schmiatix. All right, looks like they do have their teams locked in. We have a Lickitung on the lead into Noctowl. This is a very nice lead for Aries here. And we're going to see an immediate pivot into his own Noctowl, and Aries doesn't have a good response to this. So Aries going to need to get some chip damage before he decides to bring it in, but at this point, I mean, the fact that he's staying in should kind of be an indicator that he doesn't have a great response to this in the back. So I would just overfarm quite a bit in this matchup before you go for the Sky Attack, and that's exactly what he's going to do. Firing off the Sky Attack. Sky Attack is going to be doing a solid chunk of damage, getting Aries' Noctowl below half health. Going to pivot into the Shadow Swampert. This is Hydro range. Fired off the Sky Attack before Swampert is able to reach the Hydro. Swampert does significantly outpace in this matchup, but Sky Attack is not going to be lethal. Sky Attack will do a lot of damage, though. Swampert is going to overfarm here. Swampert farm it up to the Earthquake, and then firing off the Hydro Cannon. We see a Shield trying to make a play for switch advantage here. Oh my goodness. Commits the Shield. Going for the Sky Attack, and that is precision in counting right there. Knowing that the Swampert was short, and with the sneak, he would have the Sky Attack. Sky Attack gets the Shield from the Swampert, and Noctowl should be able to shield once and farm down here. So if they want switch advantage, he can definitely take it, but he's actually going to let this go. Not making a play for switch, instead letting the Noctowl go. And he's going to bring in Lickitung, and that decision may prove to be a bit uncomfortable when we see that there's a Trevenant in the back. Switch advantage would have been really, really nice here, as he's going to fire off the Sky Attack, and this is not Body Slam range. But the Noctowl is going to be able to tank at least one Body Slam in this matchup. Pivots into the Medicham. Medicham is going to be met with the Trevenant. You hate to see it. Firing off the Ice Punch. Ice Punch is not lethal. Aries is not going to have to shield this. Ooh, that's a fair point, Sebastian. If I were to make a team for one of these tournaments, who would I bring? That's a fair point. I would definitely have to do a lot of due diligence to try and figure out what I was going to bring in. We see here, Trev can very comfortably overfarm to the back-to-back Seed Bombs here. Could have forced CMP, but instead choosing to fire one before, just to play on the safe side, give a cushion. Seed Bomb is going to KO. In comes the Lickitung, able to reach the Seed Bomb. The Seed Bomb is going to be doing some valuable damage, as it will put the Lickitung a lot closer towards Sky Attack range. Seed Bomb lands. Switch timer is up. In comes the Noctowl. The question is, can double Body Slam be reached before Noctowl gets the Sky Attack? This is going to be close. First Body Slam, able to land on the Noctowl. It's going to be a race. Noctowl versus Lickitung, and Noctowl is able to get the Sky Attack. The Sky Attack is going to be very close. Shouldn't be lethal, though, but it's going to get this Lickitung incredibly low. Is Lickitung going to be able to survive? Lickitung gets to the Body Slam. Body Slam is going to KO. The question is, can Lickitung farm down before the Trevenant does? This Body Slam is going to KO the Noctowl. It all comes down to this. A race of fast moves. Trevenant going for the farm down, and the Lickitung takes it! The Lickitung takes it on 1 HP! The Lickitung takes the victory! Wow! What a game! And we have Nuclear Ninjas with a 20 bomb as well! What an absolutely unreal game there! Wow! That's some sprays for Nuclear Ninjas. Thank you so much, man. Welcome in, welcome in. Whew. I need a breather after that one, chat. I need like a 15-minute break. What a game. What a game there. Wow. Lickitung able to withstand the Sky Attack, able to withstand the Wing Attacks, and withstand the double resisted Shadow Claws, and take the win. IVs do matter. Wow. It might be worth it, Nuclear Ninjas. That final game came down to 1 HP. All right. Okay, here we go. Here we go, chat. We got Tomahawk versus Kokshock. Let's go. Let's go. This is gonna be a heck of a series. And then this is winners finals, chat. So this should be best of 5. Turning the background music down a little bit. I got you, bro. How's that? Yeah, possibly, Ricky. Possibly. Jonkus unfortunately didn't make it to day 2. So these are just day 2 battles. But Jonkus wasn't able to make it to day 2, unfortunately. Yeah, I got you, Brian. No problem. I appreciate the feedback, because to me, in my ears, it's a decent level, but I want to make sure that it sounds good for y'all. All right, let's take a peek at these teams. We already know Kokshock rocking the Victini of all things. We have Trevenant, Azu, Victini, Obstagoon, Altaria, and Registeel. And on Tomahawk's side, Tomahawk looking real weak to Goon. We have Lickitung, Medicham, of course, as the one very good Goon answer. And then we have Noctowl, Frostlass, Stunfisk, and the Shadow Swampert. The nice thing is, since Kokshock has the Trevenant, it prevents Tomahawk's ability, as he has in previous rounds, to save switch the Swampert with impunity, as well as the Altaria. So it's a bit harder to bring the Swampert when there's 2 very, very hard checks for it. Overall, though, the Licky has a lot of neutral play if you can avoid Goon and Reggie. Medi is uncomfortable. Honestly, I think we're going to see a steady diet of Owl, because Owl is very neutral. I would expect to see a decent amount of Owl from Tomahawk. And then, honestly, Victini can put in some work here, so I'm expecting to see Goon, but I'm not ruling out Victini. I'm not ruling out. Ooh, Progo. The Shadow one, especially if you're running one of the Fangs, the Shadow one does perform better when it comes to Fangs. Matt, unfortunately, Jonkus didn't make it to day 2, so he is already eliminated at this point. I've seen a few Felix, but not a lot of them. Yeah, I am incredibly excited to see these battles, because we've seen Tomahawk played extremely well, and so did Kokshock. Deoxys, Sableye and Trevenant are very, very common, and that's what makes Deoxys a bit awkward to run. All right, chat, here we go. Game number 1. This is a best of 5. Winner gets a ticket to Worlds in Japan. We have Medicham into Altaria. a favorable lead for Altaria, but Medicham outpaces in this matchup, so in even shielding scenarios, Medicham is always able to land an Ice Punch. Tomahawk overfarms by 1 and is going to fire off the Ice Punch. Decision time. Immediate no shield from Kokshock here, as this Ice Punch is able to land. Altaria continues to farm a safe switch into Lickitung, which is met with the Obstagoon. As you can see, Tomahawk's team is structured to bait out the Obstagoon, but there is a secondary Frostlass counter waiting in the back in Azumarill. However, if Tomahawk is able to find a way to get shield advantage, Frostlass can handle Azu, but he's not going to find a way to get shield advantage going up against Goon. Goon, definitely a bit of an anti-meta pick, but it does very nicely against Lickitung, does very nicely against Sableye, has neutral play against Noctowl, and does very nicely against the Stunfisk, which is almost ubiquitous at this point. Going to be firing off the Cross Chop here. Cross Chop does have some nice finishing power in matchups like Lickitung and Stunfisk, as Cross Chop is going to be getting that Lickitung into a range where he can farm down. He was actually firing off the lasting Cross Up, was worried about a potential body slam there, so just to ensure that he doesn't have to give up a shield, he's going to fire off that move. Medicham is going to get a counter down, but Medicham at max is only getting 3 counters, probably just 2 though. Going to bring in the Medicham, immediate Night Slash here. Night Slash not going to be doing a lot of damage, but Night Slash, any chip damage helps at this point. Night Slash is able to land. Obstagoon is going to get countered down. Medicham does leave with energy, which is a little scary. He's looking to immediately pivot. In comes Altaria, and Altaria is going to fire off the Sky Attack. Sky Attack caught onto the Frostlass. So Tomahawk is going to take that damage. But honestly, landing that is kind of nice for Kokshock, because now this is a range where Play Rough is going to be lethal, or honestly, Ice Beam plus farm is going to be lethal at this point. Frostlass going straight for the Shadow Ball. We do see a shield on the side of the Azumarill. Azumarill is going to continue to farm here. Probably throwing 3 bubbles in the move. That's exactly what he does. And going for the Ice Beam, because at this range, even a resisted Ice Beam is going to be lethal. Tomahawk in a very tough spot here. That Azu is just incredibly healthy. He's going to continue to farm with his Frostlass. Going for that Shadow Ball. Tried to force CMP, but Kokshock is able to get an entire free bubble, not falling for the trap of throwing on alignment and trying to go for CMP here. So now Kokshock gets an entire free bubble, which is quite nice. Continuing to farm. Gonna fire off the Ice Beam just before he's able to reach his next move. Tomahawk in a really tough spot where he doesn't necessarily want to shield Aemon that's this low of health. He is gonna let that go, trusting in the Medicham. In comes the Medicham, but Azumarill has that loaded energy, firing off the Play Rough, just wanting to ensure that he can get this damage up. What's up, Always Up for Raid? What's up, R-Gaming? How's it going? This Play Rough is gonna get the shield. Azu in a bit of a precarious spot here because the Medicham has so much energy. Medi's going to fire off a charge move. He is going to commit the shield here, though. He's going to commit the shield. It is the Ice Punch. Does he try and catch here? He does not. He does not go for the catch. Going for the Psychic to guarantee the KO. Ice Punch may not have KO'd. Azu is very tanky. Psychic is going to get the KO, and he can bring in the Altaria. It is going to be a race. Can Altaria farm down before Medicham gets the Ice Punch? It does! Oh my goodness! The one Dragon Breath KOs. Wow, what a close game. What a close game. Oh my goodness. What a close game. Hey, sounds good, Heidi. Wow. What a game there. Yeah, Dr. Stalemate, what happens at the end is, yeah, during tournaments, it pauses like that when the move KOs. So basically what happened was the game worked as intended, but basically when a move KOs in tournaments, it like pauses for a second. So basically what had happened was he clicked on the Ice Punch when his Medicham was in 1 Dragon Breath range. So basically throwing a charge move takes a turn. Oh, that is good to know, Flippin' Coop. So throwing a charge move takes a turn. And so basically, yes, he was able to click on it, but on the turn it takes for the move to register, that Dragon Breath KO'd. So it looks strange in the tournament, but the game did function as intended in that regard. Yeah. Yeah, that's where understanding those game mechanics is big. I went too far. Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, so people talking about the new mechanic, typically yes, but I don't believe new mechanic applies when it's a one turn. So, but yeah, it didn't end up being a dispute or anything. Yeah. But yeah, so one turn fast moves in how the game works at the moment take precedence over a charge move. Yeah, it pauses for a second there. But yeah, so that's basically how the game mechanic works in that moment. Oh, all right, I went too far again. Yeah, it is one of the many reasons why I like running one-turn fast moves. They also give you extreme flexibility about when you throw your charge moves, so that way you can minimize the amount of free turns you're giving your opponent. All right, chat, here we go. Game number 2. We see Stunfisk into the Obstagoon, a very good lead here for Kokshock. Tomahawk is going to pivot into the hard counter of Medicham. Interesting decision there. Medicham met with the Altaria. And Medicham does typically lose this, but as I mentioned, in even shielding scenarios, will be able to land an Ice Punch. Kokshock, knowing that he's going to have to tank one, is going to let that first Ice Punch through. And then he can overfarm quite a bit here. Interestingly enough, choosing to let Medicham get to a second Ice Punch there may have slightly lost count, so he is going to commit the shield. And then, because at this point, if you're the Medicham, you are just going to take shield advantage. Like, you know they have the back-to-back, you are just going to take shield advantage and then just get farm on Stunfisk. So Tomahawk's not going to... Tomahawk shields that. That surprises me a lot. That shield surprises me a lot. Tomahawk double shielding here, trying to make a play for switch advantage. Can he double up here? He can! Wow, that is matchup knowledge. I didn't know that. Holy shit, not a blunder. Tomahawk just knows that matchup. Wow, that's a crazy read. Yo, I wanna, hold on chat. I'm gonna rewind that slightly. So with enough of an energy lead, how much of an energy lead did it have? Sorry for rewinding here. That's a crazy read. I didn't think you could flip swap there. So how much of an energy lead does Tomahawk get here? He tries to switch right away. It throws a move. He only gets like 2 turns. Wow. So he only gets like 2 turns. And as we pace through this, is actually able to make the 4 Ice Punches. Does actually reach the 4 Ice Punches before the 3 Sky Attacks with the small energy lead. That is crazy. Yes, always up for raid. Yo, what's up, Blue? How's it going? So Tomahawk able to win switch advantage, but doesn't have a shield. However, if we take a look, Azu looks very nice here. Azu will have to take this Psychic, but Azu up a shield does have play against Tomahawk's remaining Pokemon. 3 turns flips it, assuming both rank 1. Got you, Chillis. Got you. In comes the Stunfisk. Stunfisk, not a great matchup here, but it is a better situation for Tomahawk than if this was aligned up against the Goon. In this way, he has a neutral matchup with the Obstagoon into the Owl in the back. Going to bring in the Obstagoon. Obstagoon is going to be hit with the Earthquake. Decision time. Does he commit the shield? He does! Recognizing that if he's throwing this here, that he probably needs that damage, and he's going to send in the Knocked Owl. Because as we discussed at the beginning, the only strong Obstagoon answer is the Medicham. So once the Medicham's out of the way, Kokshock can basically guarantee that his Obstagoon has play. So I really like that shield there. So going to be firing off another Night Slash into the Knocked Owl. And this is an uncomfortable spot for Knocked Owl because Knocked Owl is behind on energy here. And Knocked Owl is going to need at minimum 2 sky attacks to KO here. So going to be firing off this first one into the Obstagoon. Obstagoon, no shields remaining, just has to tank this damage. This sky attack is able to land. Goon able to reach the Night Slash, and that is going to be getting the Owl extremely low. Owl should be able to survive this, but not by much. Night Slash is going to get them very low. Obstagoon is going to force the Knocked Owl to burn its energy, and at that point, I mean, you're just in a decent spot here with your Azu, because the Stunfisk had to fire off an Earthquake. So at this point, you're in a pretty good spot where you can just get to the Ice Beam, because Earthquake is not going to be fatal from this range. So you can let this go, throw one bubble, and then the Ice Beam, and then Ice Beam plus bubble should just about be enough to KO. And he has taken no chances, fired off the Ice Beam right away, and Ice Beam should just about do it here. Ice Beam onto the Stunfisk, takes it out, in comes the Knocked Owl. Knocked Owl gets farmed down. Kokshock takes the 2-0 lead, 1 win away from getting a ticket to the World Championships in Japan. All right. No Victini sighting yet, but I'm still holding out hope that we'll see Victini. It is uncomfortable to bring Victini when the opponent has a Shadow Swampert. All right, chat, here we go. Game 3. Hey, to be fair, Kokshock, to be fair, the amount of pressure you must have been under was probably enormous. Like, I can't even imagine making it this far, making it through the winner's bracket, and then being up 2-0. Like, the amount of pressure to just get the win there. Like, all right, chat, here we go. Game number 3. We see Frostlass into the Altaria, an incredibly tough lead. Immediate save switch into the Azumarill. Azu is met with the Licky, and we see the Medicham in the back for the Obstagoon. So unless Kokshock is able to make a play for switch, this is looking like game over the moment it started. But here's the really uncomfortable thing about the Azumarill versus Lickitung matchup, and that's that it is very, very tough to force switch. And that's because a play rough, as you see, is not going to be enough to two-shot, whereas 2 Power Whips are going to be enough to KO. So that's the very uncomfortable thing. So Kokshock, recognizing that switch advantage would be absolutely massive here, but it's a very, very tough spot to be in. Just going to continue to farm up, firing off the play rough just before the Power Whip is reached. This is not lethal, but Tomahawk knows that switch advantage, getting too low here will be unfortunate, because he needs to try and keep switch advantage, because it's very advantageous. Going to be firing off the Power Whip, immediate no shield. Kokshock is going to be able to tank one, and this is the move that he chooses to let go, as this Power Whip is able to land, but now this should be Body Slam range, and he's able to fire off the Body Slam just before he's able to reach the Power Whip. That is a little unfortunate, and he's just going to let this go, choosing instead of switch to get energy on Altaria, because energy on Altaria is good versus the entire team unless you're going up against the Stunfisk. So Altaria going to try and go for the farm down, and hopefully this Lickitung is not going to be able to reach a second Body Slam. Firing off the first, we do see the immediate no shield from the Altaria, recognizing that this move is going to do a lot less than an Avalanche from Frostlass. Altaria going for the farm down and gets it. Altaria leaving with a nice amount of energy here. In comes the Frostlass, farming up, firing off the Sky Attack. One Sky Attack is not lethal, but it will do some solid chip damage here. Tomahawk is going to commit the shield on the Frostlass. Tomahawk continues to farm, going for the switch, and gets the catch onto Obstagoon. Okay, so able to preserve it, commits the shield on the Obstagoon, not reading the Medicham in the back, and unfortunately this will be game over, because you can just catch onto the Medicham, and this will be, unfortunately, we will be going to a game 4 here. That's a very tough spot to be in when you don't know what your opponent has in the back. So you have to make a choice in that moment. What is going to be more valuable? Is HP going to be more valuable, or the shield? And it's basically a 50-50 judgment. Chat, it's a Victini sighting. Victini into Medicham. What a good lead. Immediate save switch into Lickitung. Lickitung is met with the Obstagoon, and we see the Azu in the back for the Frostlass. But Victini looking extremely potent now that the Lickitung is out of the way. We see he brings the Victini, and it pays off in a massive way as Tomahawk is ABA weak to it. Tomahawk's like, yo, surely that Victini's for bench pressure. Kokshock's like, nah, I'm bringing this Victini. I'm bringing this Victini. Firing off Body Slam number 2. Obstagoon doesn't have to worry until a third Body Slam comes through. So can let this go. And gonna be firing off the Cross Chop. This Cross Chop is gonna be getting Tomahawk's Lickitung very low. Tomahawk at this point basically just has to let it go. 2 counters should KO here. Ooh, it does not, but he's able to get the farm down and leaves with so much loaded energy. Medicham is going to be hit with 2 Night Slashes in this matchup. Oh my goodness, that is really unfortunate. In comes the Medicham, immediate Night Slash, wanting to get this energy off onto the Medicham. This Night Slash is going to land, not going to be doing a lot, but does hit for neutral damage, so will add up. We see the pivot into Victini, trusting in Victini here, saving the Obstagoon, and it's Frostlass in the back. He's at the back-to-back V creates. It's time to get fun, chat. Let's go. V create number 1 gets shielded. Victini firing off V-Create number 2. Tomahawk is going to be committing both shields in this matchup. Now, Kokshock does have an interesting... It does have a interesting dilemma ahead of him here. He can just let Victini go, which is probably the better play, or you could preserve Victini because Victini is just gonna pop off here. Let's go. Commits the shield, going for the V-Create, loses CMP, but he is saying, you know what? I am committing. I am committing to the Victini in this moment. Victini gets to a third V-Create. That's going to be a bye-bye Frostlass, and all that's left is the Medicham in the back. Yo, send in the Medicham, pivot into the Azumarill, and Kokshock is going to clinch his ticket to Worlds. Let's go. So, chat, in August of 2023, when the World Championships are in Japan and we're doing a watch party, Kokshock's gonna be there. Yeah, easy Victini pivot. Victini absolutely stunting on him. Let's go. Player off lands. Azu gets the farm down, and we see Kokshock able to take it and secure a ticket to Japan. The good sportsmanship all around. You love to see it. Claps in chat. Claps in chat for Kokshock in chat. Claps all around. Claps all around. Got the teammates in there too. You love to see it. You love to see it. And running Victini as well. And running Victini as well. The absolute audacity. You love to see it. Oh my goodness. All right. And now, so Kokshock has punched his ticket to Worlds. And now Tomahawk moves to the losers bracket, and Tomahawk will play the winner of Aspercelto. And I keep forgetting how to pronounce his names, and I apologize for that. But yeah, so, and now what started as 8 are now 4. So now Kokshock gets a much needed breather, and Aspercelto and SM. I learned how to pronounce it earlier, but I forgot, and I feel bad about that. So we're just going to say SM for now. Junkus, I think, made it close to day 2, but unfortunately was eliminated short of day 2. See here the teams for Aspercelto. We have, and we've seen both of these competitors before. We have the, hold on, I'm going to restart the background music here. We have the Sableye, Medicham, Registeel. I think Aspercelto was the Flash Cannon Registeel. The Venusaur, Noctowl, and the Azu versus Frostlass, Medicham, Stunfisk, the Lantern, Noctowl, and Lickitung. So this is going to be a very good matchup. It's going to be a very good matchup. Pronounce it like this. Schmeetix. Schmietix. Schmiatix. 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 Alright, we're gonna do Schmiatix. And hopefully that's right. Schmiatix. Again, I unfortunately am not multilingual, so I am doing my best here, chat. Please be patient with me. Schmiatix. 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 Okay. Schmiatix. Alright, I'm doing my best here. Clueless American doing his best. Yo, what up, Jason? Learn another language? I tried. I was not good at it. Alright, here we go. Game number 1, chat. And this should be a best of 3 in this situation. We see Lantern into the Venusaur, a devastating lead. Save switch into the Galarian Stunfisk. Stunfisk is going to be met with a Medicham. And that is really unfortunate because if we see what is in the back, we see Registeel waiting for the Noctowl. I did, Joe, yes. I got the Shadow Steelix, which I posted a video on earlier today. And that is very, very unfortunate alignment for Schmiatix in Game 1 as Aspercelto just absolutely in the driver's seat of this match. Committed the shield on the Earthquake, taking no chances, wanting to make sure that he can keep Switch in this matchup because Switch is absolutely everything here. Firing off the Ice Punch on the CMP tie. Ice Punch will be lethal. Schmiatix honestly probably just takes shield advantage here. That's exactly what he's going to do. He's just going to take shield advantage. In comes the Water Gun Lantern. This Medicham is still incredibly healthy, so we'll be able to reach the Psychic before the Thunderbolt is reached. The Battle Bill memes have been made. Oh, the Battle Bill memes have been fire. Oh, yes. I didn't make an Ultra League one, Kevin, but I made a Great League one. I just don't have the XLs. Continuing to farm. Gotta hope. I just don't think Thunderbolt is enough to KO here. Lantern, pretty bulky, not the most attack, so I don't believe Thunderbolt is going to be lethal here. And it's not. Medicham able to hang on, reach the last second Ice Punch. Ice Punch should just about be lethal here, and it's going to be Noctowl into Registeel, so it's going to be very unfortunate here. Ice Punch is going to secure the KO. We see the Noctowl into the Registeel, and this is the Flash Cannon Registeel. No Zap Cannon. Flash Cannon has served Aspercelto exceedingly well. Firing off the Shadow Ball, does have a shield advantage, but still in a very tough spot. At the very least, he can't be debuffed in this matchup, which is nice. But Registeel still takes 3 Shadow Balls to KO, and pacing to the Flash Cannon in 70 instead of the 80 for Zap Cannon does add up over time. Noctowl continuing to farm. Another Flash Cannon coming through. Registeel just incredibly spammy with the Flash Cannon. Noctowl has to start committing shields. And things are starting to look very, very dire in this matchup. Continuing to overfarm here. Firing off the Shadow Ball. Shadow Ball plus a Sky Attack will KO here. Does Aspercelto commit the shield? He does not. He lets it go. So this is now Sky Attack range. Question is, can Noctowl outpace? It cannot. Noctowl is going to be forced to burn the last shield. That is a little unfortunate here, as Flash Cannon is going to be shielded. I don't think a wing attack down is possible. And the pivot into Venusaur, and Venusaur is looking to try and make it to the Sludge Bomb. Honestly, Frenzy should be enough from this range, but going for the Sludge Bomb to secure it. Sky Attack gets the shield. Venusaur gets the Sludge Bomb. Sludge Bomb will be taking out the Noctowl. Venusaur flipping the script here. Venusaur taking out a Noctowl and securing the Game 1 win. Yo, Diamond Man with the dono. Thank you so much, man. I powered up a Galarian Ponyta to Great League and now broke out Stardust. Hope you and the shoe is doing well. I am doing well, thank you. It's Aspercelto. Okay, thank you. So I can just call him Prescelto if that works. A non-Shadow Venu? Gross. Hey, it is put in a lot of work. It's put in a lot of work. So we'll just call him Prescelto and Schmiatix. You built your level 50 rank 5 Gorgeist? I have one response to that. That is my response. Nah, Blue, I am happy that people get to like correct me on this, because people's names is something that I'm a big believer in. Like, if I can pronounce it right, I'm gonna try my best to. So if people are helping me out, that's great, because especially with a European regional, there's gonna be a lot of usernames based off languages that I don't speak. So being able to get that help is quite nice. What do I spray? I have anti-mold spray. Whenever I get mad or whenever there's a dono, I get sprayed with it. It's very cold. Don't time out, Coop! Free the homie Coop. Yeah, I tried, Captain, I tried. I tried to get the win, but he saved his wall rain. He saved his wall rain. It was rough. All right, Chet, here we go. Game number 2. Let's take a look. We see Medicham into Medicham. Let's take a peek in the back. That Registeel looking fierce in the back. So Registeel will definitely be a problem unless we do see a pivot here. Firing off the Psychic, and Aspercelto does lose CMP. Going for the Psychic, we see a shield from Aspercelto. Aspercelto is going to be committing to this lead matchup here. We do see a defense drop, though. We do see a defense drop, which is quite good for Smiatix. Firing off the Psychic here. Smiatix is going to let that go as Psychic is able to land. Continuing to farm. Able to reach another Psychic. This Psychic is going to land. And Aspercelto committing both shields in this matchup. Oh my goodness. So he is probably going to take his shield advantage in this moment. Aspercelto over farming nicely. My guess is Smiatix is just going to take shield advantage. But that means this Registeel is going to be incredibly uncomfortable to deal with. How do I untime out? I don't know if you can. And now it's Lantern into Reggie, but a Chet. If y'all remember, no Zap Cannon for a debuff chance. So this is only Focus Blast. No debuff chance definitely helps Lantern here. Yeah, on YouTube, I don't think you can unban, but I don't think you can untime out. Free the homie Coop. Farming up and gonna fire off the Surf. The nice thing is Smiatix does have the 2-0 shield advantage, which should serve him quite well. Firing off the Surf. Surf is gonna land. Lantern farming up, gets to another Surf, but this is not gonna be lethal. Aspercelto is going to be able to live this, and Aspercelto should be able to get off another Focus Blast, as he should be one turn away here. Registeel able to get the Focus Blast. Smiatix can shield and go for a farm down here, or is he gonna put it all on the Noctowl? He is gonna let that go, putting it all on the Noctowl here. In comes the Noctowl. Noctowl looking for the farm down. Aspercelto gonna save that Registeel for later and bring in the Azumarill. And Azu is a great Pokemon for getting shields down in this moment. Firing off the Shadow Ball. Shadow Ball lands onto the Azumarill. Azumarill, notoriously tanky, going to be able to absorb Noctowl's energy lead and begin to force shields as well. Firing off the Sky Attack. Sky Attack is going to land. Sky Attack, not going to put it into a range where Shadow Ball will be lethal. So we'll definitely need some wing attacks before a Shadow Ball is going to be enough to KO. Firing off this Ice Beam. Decision time. Smiatix is going to let that go. That Ice Beam does a lot of damage, but basically saying, you're going to have to fast move me down. Firing off another Ice Beam. We do see Ice Beam is going to get shielded here. Smiatix is going to need to overfarm quite a bit, but if Smiatix can farm up to the back-to-back moves here and then leave with double Sky Attack, that would be quite nice. Smiatix farms up, fires off just short of the double Sky Attacks. But Smiatix, I believe Medi has energy here. So if Reggie can make a move here, yeah, Medi does have energy, so Medi is going to fire off the Ice Punch. If Reggie makes a move, this is over. Brings in the Reggie. Reggie not able to make the move. Smiatix is going to be able to hang on. Wow, Reggie, even with that cheaper Flash Cannon, not able to make it to a move. Shadow Ball takes out the Medicham, and we're going to see a Game 3. Wow. Mental. Oh no, Ali. Good luck at work. Good luck at work. Okay. Yeah, if I can avoid being a meme for my awful pronunciation, I will have done my job here. Schax, okay. Game 3, we saw Schax brought the lantern, and the lantern in the back paid off nicely. But does that inspire Aspercelto to bring back the Venusaur? Because Venusaur, of course, absolutely destroys Lantern. But if Lantern steers clear of that, it has a lot of neutral play. Yeah, our gaming. It is very cool to see people compete at this high of a level. Yeah, trusting in the knockdown paid off big time there. All right, Chad, here we go. Game number 3. Let's do this. Okay. This decides who will face Tomahawk for a ticket to Japan. We see Lickitung into Azu. This is a good matchup for Schax. A save switch into Registeel. Registeel is going to be met with a Medicham. But if we see Schax is ABA weak to counter, and that Medicham for Aspercelto looking quite scary. Firing off the flash cannon. Registeel is able to force a shield in the zeros in this matchup. Medicham is going to be firing off the Psychic. Psychic does slightly more than Ice Punch in this matchup, which is nice. So Psychic is able to land. Psychic lands onto the Registeel. Registeel continuing to farm. Registeel is going to make the Flash Cannon. And Schax is going to have to shield if he wants switch advantage. But he's going to let it go. He's going to let it go. Wow. Giving up switch advantage. Can he get the... I don't think he can get the farm down with Fisk, but if he can get a farm down with Fisk, that'd be sick here. He's going for the farm down on Fisk. I don't think 7 mud shots KO here. Going for the farm down. Not going to be able to get there, but fires off the Rock Slide to deny the energy. Very precise counting. A very, very nice play. Rock Slide onto the Registeel is going to KO. In comes the Azu. Stunfisk does have an energy lead, which is nice, and basically took no damage to get that energy lead, which is very nice. So, firing off the Earthquake. First Earthquake, Aspercelto is going to let that go. Continuing to farm up in this matchup. Probably going to throw 3 bubbles here, and does. Goes for the Ice Beam, but catches it onto the Lickitung. What a beautiful play. What an absolutely beautiful play. As Ice Beam is able to land onto the Lickitung, staying in here with the Azumarill. Building up to the Play Rough, going for the Ice Beam. I could see Schax giving up a shield here, and that's exactly what he's going to do. Yeah, Reggie beats Medi in the zeros only. He's just going to continue to farm up with the Lickitung. Lickitung going for the Power Whip before Aspercelto is able to get to a move. But honestly, if I'm Aspercelto, I might shield here, yeah. I would be inclined to commit shields in this matchup. Going for the Play Rough. This Play Rough is going to do a solid chunk of damage. We see Lickitung committing the final shield in this matchup. In comes the Medicham, and Medicham is looking very scary as a closer. Very precise counting there by Schax, as he's going to be firing off this Body Slam. One Body Slam is going to land no matter what. Aspercelto chooses to shield the first one. Continuing to farm with the Lickitung. Body Slam is going to land. And then, this is awkward. When do you bring back in the Fisk is the question. Lickitung continues to farm, brings in the Fisk, and going to be able to reach the Ice Punch. Ice Punch not going to be enough to KO. This Fisk is very, very close to the Earthquake. Timer not up for Aspercelto. Over farming as much as he can and firing off the Quake. Schax wants extra farm on the Fisk to try to reach a move versus the Azu. This Earthquake is able to land. Down goes Medi. In comes the Azumarill with the extra farm. Can he make the Quake? Yes, he can! What a play! The over farm there by Schax, able to outpace the Azu. Earthquake will take out the Azu. And wow, the beautiful play, recognizing that taking those counters didn't matter. What mattered is the energy to outpace Azu. What a play. What a play. And the great decision making throughout. and recognizing the fact that he didn't need switch, because if he shields to win switch, then Medi up a shield just wins. Yeah, Smiatek's absolutely unreal plays, and now we get to see Smiatek's first Tomahawk in a best of 5. That's gonna be awesome to see. We see Kokshock again. We see a meta. The top 8 breakdown. So the most common mon is Stunfisk. What's up, Zap? Happy birthday, by the way. Can we get some happy birthdays in chat for Zap Latinsky, please? We have, and Laughing Storm with the dono. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. That's very kind of you. So the most common mon in top 8 is Stunfisk. Stunfisk, exceedingly flexible. Let me see Metacham and Knocked Owl. And then we see Licky, Tree Azu. Frost being in the top 10 of most common mons is a little surprising. And all the way at the back there, we see Victini. Okay, this is... Oh, I went too far, chat. I went too far. All right, we have Tomahawk versus Smiatek's. Yeah, Reggie, since Zap Cannon got a nerf, Reggie has been a lot more common. And, like, the only Reggie we saw had Flash Cannon, which was very interesting. Well, the nice thing is, Laughing Storm, is we will get to see, like, Kokshock isn't done. So the winner of this best of 5 wins a ticket to Japan and then plays Kokshock in the grand finals. Yeah, Starvin side, there are definitely matchup differences. Yo, what's up, Cap Simon? Yeah, Bavin, that's a fair point. Shadow for Alligator. If I get a good one day, I'll be down to try it. I just don't have a good one at the moment. Again, Smiatek's doesn't have a Trevenant, and I think we're going to see a steady and continued diet of Shadow Swampert in these matches. Yeah. Lantern as well. Like, there are no Trevs on either side, which frees up the waters a lot. Greedent, I think Greedent is a great investment for the Ultra League. You can run either Bullet Seed or Tackle on it. Lately, I've been preferring Tackle. It plays very differently depending on the fast move, but yeah, XL Greedent is awesome. Great League Greedent is more of a limited metamon, but XL Greedent in Ultra has a ton of play, especially with Reggie being a lot less common. Yo, what's up, Benny? Yo, Virgil with the dono. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Dang, Mr. Tomahawk, you got a 96 Shadow Mewtwo. That's hype. Let's go. For Ultra Premier, you're running Altaria, Bullet Seed, Greedent, G-Fist. Nice. I like Greedent a lot. All right. Anyone want to be mod? Because Pirate King isn't... This one's no good. All right, we see an exceedingly neutral matchup. We see Metacham into Lantern here. And let's take a peek in the back. Ooh, Switch matters. Switch matters. Going to be firing off the Surf right away. Immediate no shield from Tomahawk. Surf is able to land. A second Surf plus the water guns will be lethal. Immediate Psychic here from Tomahawk. Decision time for Smiatek's. Smiatek's is going to be letting that go. That does quite a lot of damage, but not enough to KO. Lantern continuing to farm up. Tomahawk doesn't have anything to catch this on. Does Tomahawk shield and counter down? He definitely can. He's going to let this go. Wow, he's going to let that go. Surf gets him very low. He's going to pivot into the Swampert. Looking for the farm down. Shadow Swampert met with the Lickitung. But this is a matchup. Swampert with energy and being the Shadow does very, very well versus Lickitung. Firing off the Hydro Cannon. First Hydro Cannon is going to land. Smiatek's actually commits the shield. Commits an early shield here. But Tomahawk with this energy lead and being Shadow is just incredibly deadly. Firing off another Hydro Cannon. Smiatek's already down one shield, committing both shields, possibly anticipating an Earthquake. But in this matchup, if you get enough mud shots in, double Hydro is lethal. Firing off the Body Slam. Tomahawk knows that he can still get a lot of utility out of this Swampert, and that's exactly what he's going to do. Perfect counting there by Smiatek's. Firing off the Body Slam. before Swampert is able to reach the next Hydro Cannon here. Lickitung fires off that body slam, gets the final shield, but now Lickitung is going to get outpaced, going for the... Yeah, that pause, it is such a good play. It's such a good play. All right, game number 2. Let's see this. Lickitung into Stunfisk. This is a good lead for Tomahawk here. Pivots into the Lantern. Interesting. And Tomahawk, again, not having a grass type makes that pretty safe. Going to be firing off the Surf. We see an immediate shield from Tomahawk. The uncomfortable thing about this matchup, if you're the Lantern, is if Fisk can successfully bait, Fisk gets ahead. And that can turn a pretty decent matchup into a tough one. We see Tomahawk going for a bait. Decision time for Schmiatix here. Schmiatix calls the bait! Calls the rock slide! What an absolutely unreal play by Schmiatix! Wow! Tomahawk going for another rock slide. Does Schmiatix call this again? That would be just a crazy no shield. Schmiatix is going to commit the shield on the rock slide. Schmiatix reaches the Surf. This Surf will be lethal from this range. Decision time for Tomahawk. Tomahawk is going to let this go. Yeah, what a call there. Surf is going to KO. In comes the Shadow Swampert. Shadow Swampert looking to get ahead on energy here. But the thing is, these water guns are so oppressive. Shadow Swampert is going to be forced to fire off a Hydro Cannon. And Shadow Swampert, I believe, does have 1 mud shot extra in this matchup here. So they're going to get the KO, and they have a small energy lead. In comes Medicham into the Shadow Swampert. Swampert can CMP Earthquake to Ice Punch there, but it didn't look like Medicham threw. Going straight for the Earthquake. This is going to hurt if it lands, and it does! And we see the Noctowl in the back waiting for the Lickitung. This is quite unfortunate there. That is quite unfortunate. As this Ice Punch will KO, but from here, Noctowl is going to be able to take this home. In comes Noctowl into the Lickitung, and that is so brutal. That is so brutal. You hate to see it. You hate to see it. Yeah, Billy, so the reason why he paused was because he didn't want Schmiatix to catch. So by pausing and then seeing the counter go through, he saw Schmiatix start the counter. Because if you're in the middle of a fast move, you can't you can't switch. So he waited a turn to see Medicham's counter start, and when he saw it, that's when he hit the move, because that prevented Schmatix from catching. Licky does make this close in the ones, but it is like still a definite win for Noctowl. Noctowl is going to be firing off the Sky Attack. Sky Attack lands. Lickitung does have another Body Slam. The nice thing is Lickitung is able to stall the clock here, but it's still an uncomfortable spot to be in. Does have the Medicham for a potential catch. Just going to continue to farm up here. Watching for the catch. Firing off the Sky Attack. This Sky Attack, I believe, is lethal from this range. Sky Attack onto the Lickitung. It is just lethal. In comes the Medicham. It's a race. Medicham outpaced by a turn. And Tomahawk is going to take the 2-0 lead. Tomahawk now 1 win away from making it to Japan. Schmatix needs to reverse sweep to pull it off. This is going to be extremely close. Oh no, Mr. Tamagotchi. Hopefully you and yours can stay safe. Yeah, that was beautiful energy management there. All right, here we go. Game number 3, chat. Game number 3. We see Frostlass into Medicham, and I believe my headphones just died. You hate to see it. Save switch into Lickitung. And Frostlass staying in here. Frostlass is able to outpace and reach the Avalanche. And Avalanche is going to allow it to grab an early shield advantage or do enough damage to the point where it can safely farm down with Medicham. Avalanche lands. And now immediately bringing in Medicham. And Medicham is going to be able to tank double Body Slam, fully counter down, and leave with a lot of energy here. So going to be firing off this Body Slam. Body Slam number 1 lands. Medicham tanking it no problem. And Medicham is going to be able to not going for the Power Whip here. Going for the Body Slam. Body Slam not going to be lethal here, but firing off the Body Slam. Body Slam is going to get the Medicham low, but Medicham does get the farm down. And Medicham leads with a lot of energy to threaten the opponent's Medicham when Tomahawk brings it back in. So going to be firing off this Psychic. This Psychic is going to land. Tomahawk not really seeing a point in shielding when he knows the Medicham is going to be aligned against Schmatix's Frostlass. Able to reach another Psychic here. Tomahawk can survive this, but not by much. If I'm him, I'm letting this go. I'm letting this go. I'm trusting in Swampert. Swampert is my best Pokemon. I'm trusting in Swampert. In comes Swampert into the Frostlass. Swampert is going to be met with Lantern. These water guns add up quite a bit. This is a dicey matchup if you're Tomahawk, because you have to land a Quake to win this. Lantern is going to be firing off the Surf. Surf is going to be getting a shield from Swampert. Swampert going to be baiting with a Hydro Cannon in this matchup. Decision time for Schmatix. Schmatix thinking about it. Last second shield and shields the Hydro Cannon. A little unfortunate, but these water guns will add up quite a bit here. Farming up, going for the Surf. Surf barely able to outpace. Looks like there was a little bit of a stutter there as Tomahawk was over farming. Tomahawk is going to be committing that final shield. If Tomahawk baits, Tomahawk should be able to outpace you. Tomahawk going for it all. Full sending the nuke. Schmatix commits the shield on the Earthquake. Wow. And that should basically be game over here. Tomahawk able to reach another Earthquake, but has taken so much water gun damage at this point that this is just farm down range for Frostlass. Firing off the Earthquake. Earthquake is going to KO. Looking to switch into the Medicham. Medicham is going to get the Psychic, but Psychic is not lethal from this range. So Frostlass is going to be able to tank this and farm down. This is going to put the Frostlass low. Like, it will get the Frostlass into the red, but Frostlass not going to get countered down. In comes the Swampert. Swampert, Energy Drive. Frostlass able to reach the Avalanche. Avalanche is going to KO, and Schmatix showing signs of life as Schmatix is able to take game 3, and we will see a game number 4. So for Tomahawk, as a reminder, 1 win and it's Worlds. Schmatix needs to win the next 2 to have a chance. All right, I'm just going to continue to move through this. Yeah, Schmatix, like, that's something I'm really happy about, is like basically every battler we've seen in this top 8 have just been incredible battlers, and they are playing so well. Top 2 go to Worlds Blizzard. So Kokshock, who is in chat by the way, already punched his ticket to Worlds, and then it's between Schmatix and Tomahawk for the second ticket to Worlds. Shadow Mawile, not in Open Great League, but in limited metas, it is very good. I'm anxious as well, Cap Simon. All right, we jump into a game in progress. We have Lickitung into Frostlass. As we've seen before, Frostlass can win the zeros versus Lickitung because Frostlass is absolutely incredible, and Avalanche is actually a Psystrike clone. So Avalanche is one of the strongest, like, charge moves that you can have. Continuing to farm up here, baiting with a Body Slam. Let's see, does Schmatix commit a shield? Schmatix is gonna let that go. Oh my goodness. That just does absolutely nothing. Firing off the Avalanche. Avalanche is going to KO here unless Tomahawk commits the shield. We see an early shield from Tomahawk. So Tomahawk going to try and make a play for switch advantage. But that was a big read by Schmatix. Going to continue to farm up. Tomahawk should be able to put it into Body Slam range, and a beautiful catch, banking the energy, catching the Avalanche onto his own Frostlass. What a play by Tomahawk. Wow. Unfortunately for him, this Frostlass is going to be met with Lantern, and we have definitely seen this matchup. If you've been playing a certain Sylph Factions meta this cycle, Frostlass, Lantern, they are well acquainted. Firing off the Shadow Ball. Shadow Ball is going to be doing a sizable chunk of damage, but Lantern is going to be able to tank it and throw like 9 water guns here to be safe. Actually going for the farm down, but Frostlass reaches the last second Avalanche. This is resisted, but Avalanche is a pretty powerful move. So we are going to be seeing a shield, and Lantern leaves with so much energy here. I believe Lantern would win CMP over Licky. Firing off the Surf. Licky is going to let that go. Surf onto the Licky is enough to KO, and it's Shadow Swamp in the back. Things looking very good for a potential Game 5 here. Firing off the Surf. Surf is going to land. Lantern continuing to farm. Swampert is going to be forced to throw. They're not going to get the farm down here. The Surf comes through. This is going to be getting this Swampert quite low. As Swampert, especially when Shadow, not the tankiest, that does so much damage. In comes Metachan, just looking for the punch down. Needs double Hydro to KO here. But unfortunately, Schmatix does have a shield. So this is looking like Schmatix is going to be evening this series up. Firing off the first Hydro Cannon that lands. Schmatix gets the counter down, and we see a Game 5. So back against the wall, Schmatix is able to even things up for his Tomahawk. And now we have a winner take all, chat. Game 5. Winner gets a ticket to Japan. And the loser, unfortunately, falls agonizingly short. So I can't even imagine the nerves that must be going through these competitors' minds in this moment to have come this far, made it through a stacked bracket, getting to day 2. Yeah, so much pressure in this moment, making it all the way to the losers finals. And now you are 1 game away. What Pokemon do you pick? For Schmatix, the Lantern has put in a lot of work, and for Tomahawk, the Shadow Swampert has honestly struggled going up against that Water Gun Lantern. The Water Gun pressure has worked out very nicely. We hop into a game in progress. All right, come on, production. We see Shadow Swampert into a Lickitung lead, and he's going to bring in his own Lickitung to absorb the Power Whip. A very nice catch there by Tomahawk, firing off the Power Whip. As Power Whip, unfortunately, not the move he was necessarily hoping to throw, and that's going to be met with Metacham. Metacham, I don't believe is going to be able to farm down here without taking a third. Actually, it may be able to. I think Tomahawk threw an alignment there, so I think Metacham can tank 2 and farm all the way down, although it's going to be close. We'll have to see. Nah, these elixirs are adding up enough where I might throw if I'm Schmatix, or at least commit a shield and farm down, because this will just about KO. So we do see the shield come up, and he is just going to commit a shield to farm down and leave with so much energy. And if you're Tomahawk, it's uncomfortable to bring in Swampert here, just because Swampert is going to take a lot of damage. You might consider bringing in the Metacham to absorb the damage, and that's exactly what he's going to do. We see a blind Ice Punch thrown expecting the Swampert, but it's not the Swampert. In fact, it is the Metacham. Metacham able to absorb the blind Ice Punch. That is quite unfortunate for Schmatix. Schmatix is going to be firing off the Psychic, and we see a shield from Tomahawk. Tomahawk, recognizing Psychic, is going to be doing quite a bit of damage, so he is going to commit the shield here. In comes Lickitung, aggressive switch. Lickitung farming up here, trying to go for the body slam, but we see perfect counting by Tomahawk. The perfect overfarm. Absolutely unreal gameplay there. Ice Punch not going to be enough to KO, as Lickitung is going to be able to get the body slam off. This body slam is going to be getting that Medicham towards the red health, but Medicham is going to be able to tank it. An aggressive switch into Shadow Swampert. Swampert going for the farm down, smelling blood in the water. Swampert gets the farm down, and with this big of an energy lead, even Lantern has cause for concern, because Swampert already has the Earthquake loaded. Oh man, this is looking very tough. In comes Lantern. It all comes down to a bait call in this moment. Going straight for the Earthquake. Smiatix kind of has to call a bait to win. Smiatix commits the shield. Does shield the Earthquake. Timer will be up soon, but it's not up yet. Is he going to be able to switch out in time? He is not! Swampert makes the Earthquake. Smiatix's timer was a fraction of a second from coming up. Earthquake rocks the Lantern, taking it out. In comes Medicham. Medicham looking for the farm down. Medicham does get the farm down, but it is very low. And unfortunately, the counter is going to go through. And Tomahawk able to avoid the reverse sweep. And Tomahawk is going to punch his ticket to Worlds. Man, what a series there. What a series. That's crazy. Unfortunate for Smiatix. Smiatix played incredibly well. Alright, chat. I'm going to go get a charger. I'll be right back. Yeah, incredibly good games. From start to finish. Alright. Yeah, like Water Gun Lantern puts in so much work. Tomahawk. Happy. Oh! Oh! Went too far, chat. Went too far. So now, chat. So now, both Tomahawk and Kokshock have Worlds invites, but now they're going to play for who gets the travel award. The winner gets the travel award. So basically, they get their travel to Japan paid for. So both are making it to Worlds, but traveling to Japan from Europe, definitely not the cheapest. So they have probably a couple $1,000s on the line here. Kokshock comes from the winner's bracket because Kokshock has not dropped a series yet. So if Kokshock wins this best of 5, this is game over. However, if Tomahawk wins the best of 5, then they play a second best of 5 because Kokshock still has a loss to give because he won through the winner's bracket. I agree, Daniel, to be honest. But at the very least, this way, we get some stakes to watch for. Can we see the teams, please? Like, we've seen them battle a lot. 5,000. Oh, it's 5,000. I don't know about taxes. That's fair. That's fair. All right, so here we go, chat. Let's take a peek at the teams again. We have Trev, Azu, Goon, Victini, Altaria, and Reggie. Versus, we have Frostlass, Medicham, Galarian Stunfisk, Shadow Swampert, the Lickitung, and the Noctowl. These two have played each other before. This is a rematch of the winners finals, where Kokshock was able to defeat Tomahawk and ran a lot of Goon, because Goon has a lot of neutral play, but if Goon is aligned against the Medicham, that's basically game over. So if you're Kokshock, Goon is obviously probably one of your most consistent mons, but if you lose Switch and it gets aligned against Medicham, that's kind of game over. So this will be an interesting best of 5. Kokshock has done it once before. Can it happen again? I'm excited to see this, chat. I know y'all are as well. But yes, so this will be a best of 5. If Kokshock wins, it's over. If Tomahawk wins, it's a second best of 5. All right, game number 1, chat. Here we go. Oh, we see the Goon into the Medicham. This is a devastating lead, but Tomahawk has no response to an Azumarill save switch. As we take a peek here, Tomahawk's team as a whole is pretty weak to Azu. So for Kokshock, kind of a nice play to pair the Goon with something that can handle Medicham very nicely. Firing off the Psychic. Psychic is going to be doing a solid amount of damage onto the Azu. We do not see a defense drop. The switch into Noctowl to catch the play rough, and we see the nod of acknowledgement. A beautiful play there by Tomahawk. As play rough, going to be doing quite a bit less than Ice Beam, as it is only hitting for neutral instead of super effective. That is a pretty sick catch there by Tomahawk. Kokshock is going to farm up and fire off the Ice Beam. This Ice Beam will do quite a bit of damage onto the Noctowl. Tomahawk is going to commit the shield, as Ice Beam would just about be lethal from that range. Tomahawk is going to fire off Sky Attack. Sky Attack is not going to be lethal, but it will put the Azu extremely low. Kokshock is going to be letting this go. That does get Azu deep into the red. Azu should be able to reach the Ice Beam unless Noctowl throws. Very precise counting there from Tomahawk, recognizing that Kokshock was going to be able to reach that Ice Beam and denying the opportunity to grab a second shield. Very nicely done. In comes the Obstagoon. Obstagoon now basically trying to get some farm and be used as a damage sponge against the Noctowl. Firing off the Night Slash on the CMP tie. This will be close as to whether it KOs. This is going to be very close. Night Slash onto the Noctowl. Noctowl survives. Oh man. Noctowl is insanely tanky. We'll get off the Sky Attack, and now you have to rely on Trevenant, but 2-shield Trevenant versus Frostlass is very uncomfortable if you're the Trevenant, because the aggressive switch into the Medicham, staying in with an Ice Punch to force a shield. I like the play by Tomahawk. That is a nice play by Tomahawk there. Forcing a shield with the Ice Punch, and now you can bring in the Frostlass. That's a beautiful play there by Tomahawk that basically, more or less, just won him the game. Because if he just aggressively switches in down energy, then Kokshock is going to make it to 3 before he makes it to 3 himself. So that's a beautiful read there by Tomahawk to stay in, force a shield with the Ice Punch. So that way you just need double Avalanche with the Frostlass. He's very close to the back-to-back Seed Bombs, though. This Seed Bomb is going to be enough to KO here. Seed Bomb taking out the Frostlass. In comes the Medicham. Oh, wait, shields were down? Huh? What did I miss? Hold on, I'm going to go back, chat. Oh, this is what happens when I'm tired. What did I miss? When were those shields used? Wait. Oh, he used a shield on the Noctowl. Oh, for some reason I thought he still had 2 shields, chat. I apologize. I'm on not a lot of sleep. Kokshock won that. For some reason I thought Tomahawk had 2 shields. Oh, that is what I get for not being on a lot of sleep, chat. I thought Tomahawk had 2 shields. I was like, yo, Tomahawk in the 2-to-1s, Frostlass cleans up this game. But in the 1s, Trev is chilling. So Tomahawk did what he could there. You just made an enemy for life, Henry? Oh no! Mistakes have been made. But yeah, so Kokshock in the 1s here. So Tomahawk was able to get one of Kokshock's 2 shields, but Tomahawk in the 1s here, he is going to be able to do a very nice overfarm, make it to the Seed Bomb. Seed Bomb will knock out, and then Medicham switched after the Ice Punch, so they should be 6 off the Ice Punch, and Kokshock should be 4 off the Shadow Ball. Oh, 3 off the Shadow Ball. Okay, so he's chilling. I believe it can't, Dab. Henry, you're hereby sentenced to a good night's sleep. We see Kokshock able to take game 1. Got Shadow Mewtwo 11, 10, 13. Nice, nice. It's a Kokshock. Kokshock? Is that better? Kokshock? Sure. Kokshock. I want to make sure that I can try and get it as close to correct as possible. Kokshock. Is that better? I want to try and get it right if possible. What time is it at my place? It's 7:12 p.m. Kokshock was better? Okay. Got you. Thank you. Much appreciated. Lickitungus never give you XL candy. Do you have your normal type mega active? Because that can help quite a bit with it. Alright, game number 2. Alright. We see Azu into the Shadow Swampert. Okay. This matchup, I would... Ooh, a little bit of weak connection at the start there. That's a bit unfortunate. But this matchup is very big. A lot of damage onto the Azumarill. Azu is going to get outpaced by the Swampert. Azu made it close, but Tomahawk able to even it up and take game 2. So we are evened up now, 1-1. 2-shield Shadow Swampert. That was a great read by Tomahawk to save shields for Swampert there. All right, game number 3, Altaria into Medicham. In even energy, Altaria does win all evens, which is quite nice. Yeah, Goon and Medi are basically perma picks, but we see no... But this time we see the Goon in the back, which is quite nice. Oh, that's very kind of you, Wolf. Goon in the back means that it's clear of the Medi, which is quite nice. Although we could... Oh, it switches into the Noctowl to make a catch. This is risky, though, for Tomahawk, because if... This is somewhat risky for Tomahawk, for sure. Staying in with the Altaria. Could honestly bank the energy here. Going to throw it. Interesting. Okay. He's going to throw it and then bring in Azu. Honestly, may have... Because it was already... Oh, this is very interesting. He's staying in with the Altaria just to try and take switch. I think he is reading that he's trying to bait out the Azu, so he's trying to save the Azu. But by staying in here, the uncomfortable thing, he does get the farm down, which is big. But the uncomfortable thing is that, yeah, he had to go down a shield. He gets the shield back from Medi. At the very least, he has switch, which is good. Medi does leave with energy. That's not the win con that I saw, but it's a very interesting play. I kind of like it. We'll have to see how this goes. Choosing not to switch, staying in with the Altaria, and at the very least, Goon steers clear of Medi, which is absolutely what is needed. Farming up here, opponent goes for the catch onto Swampert. Could have fired off some energy there, chose not to, instead just going to bring in the Goon. Goon going for the Night Slash right off the bat. First Night Slash, not going to be lethal, so we are going to see a no shield here from the Swampert. Swampert is going to let that go. No boost this time. Hydro Cannon coming through. One Hydro Cannon is not going to be lethal, but it's going to be doing a lot of damage. Earthquake just about KOs. Hydro Cannon is going to get that Obstagoon quite low. Firing off Hydro Cannon number 2. This is a bit of an uncomfortable farm down for Azu, but if Azu can get the farm down here, we'll have to see. All right, Azu going to fire off the Ice Beam, not trying to risk a potential farm down, going to force a shield from the Swampert here. Swampert is going to let it go. So choosing not to shield, instead trusting in the Medicham. Medicham does have energy. Oh my goodness, he banked a lot of energy on the Medicham. Medicham going to be firing off the Psychic. This Psychic will do a lot of damage if it lands. Decision time for Kokshock. Psychic able to land onto the Azu. No debuff, but this is going to be tough. Can a Medicham counter down here? He is basically saying, to win this game, Tomahawk, you have to counter me down. This Ice Beam does get the shield. Azu continuing to farm. Can Azu get the Ice Beam? It cannot. The counter KOs. Tomahawk able to take the 2-1 lead. Making it incredibly close, though. Incredibly close. The play to stay in with Altaria was very interesting. He was able to keep switch, which was nice, and kept the Goon away, but Medi just had so much energy. Kokshock says, oh, you'll most likely see some long breaks and frustration on my face next round. There's weak connections because 2 losers were at BC and tried to ruin my run by spamming invites left and... You're kidding me. That is legit abhorrent behavior. That is legit abhorrent behavior right there. Imagine trying to sabotage someone just because they're doing well. That is the most pathetic shit I've heard of in my whole life. Those people should be embarrassed. Alright. Yeah, that's horrible sportsmanship by them. Alright. Trev into Lickitung. Definitely a tough lead for Trev. Yo, what's up, Austin? Altaria pivot here? We do see the Altaria pivot. Weak connection right off the bat, which is unfortunate. Altaria into Licky. Licky does have a lot of play here. As you can see, the Licks do definitely keep pace with the Dragon Breaths in this matchup, which is an advantage for Lickitung. Lickitung is going to be firing off the Body Slam right away. Altaria is going to be letting that go. Altaria does have a lot of energy here. Altaria stuttering quite a bit, firing off the Sky Attack. Altaria is at the back-to-back Sky Attacks versus the Lickitung, firing off the first. Tomahawk is going to let that go. Switch advantage matters a lot here. Lickitung is going to fire off the Body Slam because, as we know, Medi and Goon are almost constant in every single game. So switch advantage means if you can win switch and keep Goon away from Medi, that is big. Firing off the Sky Attack. Sky Attack does get the shield. Lickitung looks like he's going to try and go for the farm down here. Lickitung going for the farm down and gets it. So Tomahawk down shields but has switch, and that is quite big for him. Do you bring in the Trev to soak the energy, or do you just go for the counter snipe here with Goon? Brings in the Trev to soak the energy, okay. because Trev is going to resist all of the charge moves here. I like this quite a bit, and then you're basically just hoping that once Lickitung is gone, Trev is going to be able to sweep. So he is committing the shield on the Power Whip, basically just saying, like, I'm relying on Trev to try and win this game, but unfortunately, as you're going to see, there is the Knocked Owl back there for the Trevenant. Brought a second normal type, and we see the Medicham into the Goon. That is just absolutely brutal. That's absolutely brutal there. Unfortunately, wasn't able to win switch. Tomahawk making the play to give up a shield for switch advantage. And considering that Medi and Goon are almost ubiquitous every single game, that is quite unfortunate there. And at this point, yeah, the game's just over. So they're just letting that go. Ice Punch, just about KO from this range. If not, then it'll be just a couple HP. Yeah, the fact that people were trying to sabotage there is awful. Like, how are you trying to sabotage someone's run just because they're doing well? That's legit embarrassing behavior, and I'm sorry you had to go through that. Don't really know why they did it. They were known for being toxic in the community before. So basically, Kokshock, during Kokshock's finals runs, there were two people who were also there who were like spamming invites to his phone, like spamming battle invites to like try and mess up his battles. But let's not talk about bad stuff. Let's see another bracket. I imagine, yeah. Yeah, was that bracket reset then? Was that bracket reset? It was bracket reset because it's best of 3. Okay, so we have, but they do battle invites for battling. So I believe that's why they can't disable it, because that's how they battle each other, is through battle invites. But yes, so bracket was reset. So now we get to see a second best of 5. We get to see a second best of 5. Okay, game 1, we see a dominant lead. Obstagoon into Lickitung. We see the pivot into Knocked Owl. Knocked Owl met with the Azu. At this point, Medicham is known to be in the back. Going to be firing off the Shadow Ball right away from Tomahawk. Immediate no shield from Kokshock, as he knows that he is going to be able to survive this. Tanking that, no problem. Does need 2 moves to KO the Owl, though. So he's going to farm up and then fire off the Ice Beam. Ice Beam onto the Owl. Immediate no shield from Tomahawk. Tomahawk knows that he is going to be able to survive this here. This Ice Beam does quite a lot of damage. Azu continuing to farm. Tomahawk, again, throwing on very, very precise timing. That's something that I've loved watching this day, too, is the battlers have incredibly good timing. Sky Attack is able to land, firing off the Ice Beam here. Ice Beam. Tomahawk letting it go, not making a play for switch, which is quite interesting. That makes sense, Kokshock. That's for the best. I mean, if they're going to act like that, that's for the best then. This will come down to, even if Medicham gets an energy lead, like, okay, we see Licky firing off the body slam there, not wanting to take the damage. Even if Medi gets an energy lead, Altari can get it low enough where it should hopefully be okay. We see Goon, Medi, and that's going to be met with the Altaria. We've seen with a small energy lead, Medi can flip this. But these Dragon Breaths adding up are what are really going to matter at the end of the day. Firing off the Ice Punch, he's going to be shielding this first move as, you know what? You're going to have to use your 2 shields at some point, and it's going to be on this matchup, because if you're Tomahawk, the only way you win this game is if Medicham can take out this Altaria and then proceed to do a lot of damage onto that Obstagoon. Going to be firing off the Sky Attack. Sky Attack does get the shield. Medicham continuing to farm. Medicham add a second Ice Punch here, and we see a second shield being used. This is going to be very, very close. Ice Punch gets shielded. Altaria continues to farm. Third Ice Punch is reached. This should not be lethal, but it is going to be very, very close. Kokshock is going to let that go. Ice Punch gets the Altaria deep into the red. Tomahawk looking for the pivot here. Tomahawk gets the pivot onto the Sky Attack. That is honestly pretty big there. Being able to escape and save the Medicham, that's quite nice. And now in comes the Goon. Goon is down a shield, but Goon is in a very dominant matchup here. Lickitung firing off the body slam. No shields remaining on the side of the Obstagoon. Obstagoon just has to let this damage land. Body slam lands. Obstagoon is going to farm up to the back-to-back cross chops and start applying pressure here. Tomahawk is going to let this go. He is going to trust in his Medicham to try and win him this game. Cross chop gets the Lickitung low. Able to get the farm down here. In comes the Medicham. Medicham, very low on health. Medicham gets countered down by the Goon in a reverse of fortunes. And Kokshock able to take game 1. All right, we see the fist pump. You love to see it. You love to see it. You love to see it. That is awesome. About matchups, Tama made some incredible adaptations. And I was playing battles while watching right now. Honestly, Tolis, after I watch people who are this good play, I'm like, dang, I want to play right now. So I get that. I get inspired. I get inspired. All right, chat. Game number 2, we see a dominant lead for Tomahawk. As we see the Frostlass into Altaria, a pivot into Azu, and again, Tomahawk doesn't have a comfortable answer to Azu on this team, so he's in a bit of an awkward spot here. Firing off the Shadow Ball. Shadow Ball is going to be able to land. He has to watch for the catch, because last time there was a catch onto Knockdown. This time there is not. No catch. Frostlass staying in here, and we do see an immediate shield. Should have brought Reggie, but he scared it off with his Swampert. That makes sense, yeah. That Shadow Swampert is quite scary. Going for the Shadow Ball here. Shadow Ball is going to do a ton of damage to the Azu, so we see an immediate shield as he is going to be trying to protect this Azu, recognizing that switch advantage will be really nice, because if possible, he needs to try and keep his Goon away from the Medi. Tomahawk is going to bring in the Knockdown into an absolutely loaded Azumarill, and Azu is going to begin to launch these Ice Beams. First Ice Beam is able to land onto the Knockdown. Knockdown continuing to farm. Knockdown is going to go for the Shadow Ball on the CMP tie. Shadow Ball does do slightly more in this matchup. Is this going to be enough to KO? I think Azu might barely be able to live it. Shadow Ball onto the Azu. Azu with the big survive, and going to be able to force a shield or a switch advantage. Tomahawk lets it go. Wow. Tomahawk letting the Ice Beam go. Ice Beam, not enough to KO, and an aggressive pivot into the Altaria there. Oh my goodness. In comes the Frostlass. Altaria maybe trying to farm down the Frostlass here, but this is going to be very tough. I think Frostlass is going to make the double avalanche here. I think Frostlass is going to make the double avalanche. Because at this point, he knows it's Median back. His play is farming down here, and he's not able to get it. That is quite unfortunate. Great question, Dan. I'm not 100% sure. I would imagine the answer is yes, but I'm not sure on that one. And then it's Goon, and it's the Medi. Yeah. At this point, I mean, more than likely, he knew it was in back, and that was the play that he could make, was he had to try and farm down, because if he leaves with a Sky Attack and a half, then he can get some damage off on the Medi, and that would have been able to do it. And he gets the boost as well! He gets the boost when it doesn't matter. Oh no. Why did he switch lock the Altaria? Because at that point, well, I mean, we can ask him because he is in chat, but my guess is that he recognized that it was, yeah. Why did he pivot to Altaria? I mean, he's in chat so he can answer, but my guess would be is he knew it was Medicham in back. He wasn't able to get switch. So in that moment, his only play is get an energy lead on Altaria, farm down the Frostlass. Yeah, he says, I knew it was Medi. So his only play was energy lead on Altaria and farm down the Frostlass and leave with moves to outpay and leave with enough energy to take out the Medi. That was basically his only win con in that moment, because if he doesn't, he loses switch anyway, and it's still Medi on the Goon. So he basically made the play that he could in that moment, which is, my only win con is if I can farm down the Frostlass, which unfortunately he couldn't, but that was his only play, because at this point, Tomahawk has brought Medi every single game, because if he doesn't, the Goon runs wild. So that makes a lot of sense, yeah. Because Tomahawk just won't stop bringing the Medi, because Medi does very well against that Goon. All right, game number 3, chat. We are tied 1-1 here. Who will take a massive lead here in game number 3? We see Victini into the Shadow Swampert. Oh no. Pivot into the Azumarill here. And Azumarill, again, Tomahawk not bringing the Lickitung, doesn't have a comfortable response to an Azu save switch. Going straight for the Earthquake right off the bat. Tomahawk not baiting much in this matchup. He's going straight for the Quake, and we see a shield from the Azu here. Azu going for the Play Rough, and that's caught on the Medicham. Oh my goodness. Tomahawk throwing away the Medicham here. And that should prove to be a good thing overall for Kokshock, because that should mean that Goon is free and clear in the back. That's a very interesting choice to just put in the Medicham in that moment. I might have expected to catch onto the Noctowl. Maybe he meant to click on the Noctowl there, because catching a Play Rough onto Medi is an interesting choice. Maybe because he saw the Victini in the lead, he thought there wasn't a Goon, but there's definitely a Goon. There's a Goon basically, like, you have to just bring Goon. It's so, like, if it's against Medi, it's pain, but against everything else, it's so good. So firing off the Ice Beam, we do see a shield. Tomahawk going to try and win switch advantage here. But honestly, do you just save shields for Victini in this moment? I think you just save shields for Victini, because Victini is going to wall this energy. Victini is going to wall this energy. It doesn't KO, but you see a catch onto Noctowl. Oh my goodness, the Ice Punch didn't KO. Azu living on 1 gets the Ice Beam off, and now it's Victini into Noctowl here. Victini should be able to overfarm in this matchup. This should be V-Create range. V-Create hits incredibly hard. Victini firing off the V-Create onto the Noctowl. V-Create taking out the Noctowl. Medi does have energy, but everything Medi could throw is resisted. However, Victini has now lowered its defense by 3 stages, so this will be interesting. In comes the Shadow Swampert. These mud shots doing so much damage. Victini is going to try and land a Psychic here to deal a death blow to this Swampert. Swampert is going to be committing the shield here. Victini is going to make it to the Psychic, and that's going to be goodbye, Mr. Swampert. Swampert is going to be taken out by the Psychic. That is massive. In comes the Medicham. Medicham throwing this resistant Psychic. But the thing is Victini is triple debuffed. So this Psychic is actually going to KO. But there's still Goon in the back. Goon gets to counter down the Medicham again. And Kokshock is 1 win away from the Travel Award. I think 1 wing attack would KO Azu, but I'm not sure. Got you. Yeah, tried to basically go for the snipe there. Save the Medi energy. Alright. So we're 2-1 now. 1 win away. Can Tomahawk even it up? Alright. Game number 4. We see Obstagoon into Lickitung, a dominant lead. That is massive. We are going to see a save switch into the Shadow Swampert. Swampert met with the Azumarill. Oh, man. He's baiting. Oh, my goodness. He has gone straight nuke the entire time. And now he's baiting. Kokshock shields. Oh, my goodness. Tomahawk set that bait up perfectly in previous games. And now Swampert is in a position where it can flip it. Swampert applying so much pressure here with this Earthquake. Is Azu willing to double shield? It is not, and Earthquake is able to land, and switch advantage here is really big. However, the thing is, Victini in the back can have a lot of play, but I don't think a double V create is enough to KO a Lickitung. Lickitung is very tanky, firing off the Ice Beam. The unfortunate thing is Swampert can shield and make it to the double Hydro Cannon, so Swampert will be able to take switch here, and that is very, very rough. So my guess is we're going to see Swampert farm up to the double Hydro Cannons, and we are going to see probably a no shield here, recognizing that he is going to lose switch, and that's exactly what he's going to do. The reads here by these battlers are so good. The situational awareness of when is a good shield and when is a bad shield is just so good. It's so good. Firing off the Hydro Cannon. This Shadow Hydro Cannon is going to do a lot to the Obstagoon here, but you just have to get rid of the Swampert. You see there, Kokshock waiting a turn, again, making sure that Tomahawk doesn't catch. He has to get rid of this. But unfortunately, I don't think Victini is going to be able to do enough damage here. In comes Victini into the Medicham. Victini met with the Lickitung. He can farm up to the double V creates, but I just don't think double V create KOs. And that's what he would need in the zeros, is he would need a double V create to KO. All right, firing off the first V create here. We'll see how much damage this does. Honestly, I don't know. It does do a lot of damage. V create onto the Lickitung. It might, but he forces a CMP. Oh my goodness. Okay. He does force a CMP. We see the shield from Kokshock. So I think double V create should do it. Double V create should do it here. But then there's the Medicham, which has, I think, a counter or two of energy. Oh, it barely does not. Okay, Victini taking some additional damage. Victini will make it to 1 V create, but Victini not going to be able to make it to 2. And unfortunately, Medicham can just farm down here. I was wrong. I apologize. I, like a lot of people here, are underestimating Victini, trying to go for a catch in this moment because that's what he needed, but Tomahawk can just farm down. Bro, Victini's kind of a monster now. Victini's kind of a monster, dude. Like, holy. XL Lickitung gets 2-shot by V-Create? Holy. So it all comes down to Game 5, chat. We had a bracket reset. It all comes down to this. It all comes down to this. Oh my goodness. Well, if we had Great League again this season, no name, I would be down. 11 quick attack plus 2 V creates, 2 shots. That's the kind of preparation people have. That's crazy. That is awesome, awesome stuff. Yeah, my Victini is actually a good rank for Great League, so I won't want to make an Ultra one. Because I only have 1. Well, that's a fair point, yeah. What are your Victini IVs, by the way? I mean, obviously you don't have to say if it'll, like, spoil stuff for Worlds or whatever, but if you mind sharing... All right, Chad, here we go. Decisive Game 5. It all comes down. not threaten Altaria whatsoever. Altaria comfortably tanks 2 Hydros, and at this point, he's brought Medi every single game. You have to know it's Medi in the back. It is the Medi. In comes Medi. Medi is going to try and make it to an Ice Punch in this matchup here. Firing off the Sky Attack. Sky Attack into the Medicham. That's a ton of damage. Altaria continuing to farm. Altaria outpaces by a turn. You can see Tomahawk, the frustration there, as he's not going to be able to get off the Ice Punch that he so desperately needed. And that should be game over here, as in comes the Swampert. Swampert not going to be able to make it to the double moves. And we see the victory. Let's go. Kokshock with the win. Let's go. Teammates celebrating with them. Can we get some claps in chat? Can we get some claps in chat? Teammates hoisted him up, getting the hometown win. Let's go. Let's go. That is so heartwarming. That is so heartwarming right there. That's so heartwarming there. Let's go. Claps. So out of curiosity, hold on, I'm gonna, all right, he's headed back on stage and such. Out of curiosity, had he not pivoted, do you think Altaria could have pulled that off? Because it would have been real close. It would have been real close. Had he not pivoted, do you think Altaria pulls that off, by the way, Kokshock? I'm curious to hear his thoughts on it, because obviously he played the game and now he has presumably watched it back a couple times. Barring the pivot there, it would have been close, but he says, I think that wasn't a total misplay. Yeah, because the uncomfortable thing is that Altaria leaves with an overwhelming amount of energy, so it would have been very, very close. Wow, what a game. But my opinion, Altaria had a chance. Gotcha. What a run, chat. What a run. And what a run. Yeah, he did let Goon have value in a game where Goon shouldn't have value, which is definitely nice. But what a run from start to finish. Kokshock able to clutch out a win, overcome a bracket reset, and punch the ticket to Worlds and the travel award as well. Mad props. Mad props. And doing it with a Victini too. Doing it with a Victini. Absolutely unreal. Absolutely unreal. And to have him in chat hanging out with us along the way is even cooler. You are one hell of a battler. And I feel like I speak for all of us when I say we can't wait to see you tear it up at Worlds. I know that's a long way away, but bravo. Very, very well done. Very, very well done. All right, chat. We have made it through Warsaw Day 2. I think that's going to do it for me for today, because I haven't eaten food yet. But yeah, incredibly well done. Incredibly well done. Yeah, especially someone from Poland winning their own regional is incredibly, incredibly cool to see. So bravo there. I think that's going to do it for me, guys. I'm going to get some food. Easton Dad, the VOD of it should hopefully be up later. But yeah, I appreciate the heck out of y'all. I will see y'all later. Congrats again, Kokshock. Massive win. And we will see y'all later. All right. Peace.